ladies and gentlemen, to World of Watches TV. We are so glad for you guys to be joining us today. We have 3 action-packed hours ahead of us, so I hope you guys are ready for some steals and deals and for some little elegance over here, because joining me, very special guest, Mr. Niso Barokas. I feel like a kid when you come to visit. One, because you're so much older than me, but 2, because every time you come, you're bringing us gifts and surprises. Because Niso's here right now because we have 2 more debuts that are going down today that you, I mean, these are your babies.
Those are my babies, and this is like, you know, when you build up the menu in the restaurants.
So now we have to do the final
and then
tasting.
You see the people starting to eat, and you're watching over.
You're peeking out from the kitchen?
That's right, after months and months of hard work.
So, as you guys know, Niso Barokas, of course, he is at the helm of all of our company-owned brands here at Swiss Watch International. And 2 weeks ago, you came out with all of these brand new Lucian Piccard watches, all different collections. We talked about how we had new movements, lots of automatics, really, really high-end designs. And today, you're almost elevating that because we're going to Swiss Legend, and we're now doing Swiss Made.
That's right. So the transition to Swiss Made was very challenging for us. Not that we didn't do Swiss Made before, but this time I was the leader. I was the creative director, and I really wanted to create, my vision was for Swiss Legend to create the watches that will not be less than all these big brands in the world that offering you amazing, good quality watches. But on the same time, not everybody can afford them.
Of course.
So I say to myself, how can we, the same way we did with Lucian Piccard, you know, how can we take this Swiss-made, you know, and sometimes everybody was, even the people sending me emails, Niso, we are afraid that the prices will be too expensive. The customers are sending me, we want to continue to buy Swiss Legend. I tell them, don't worry. The pricing going to be continuing with the same DNA of our company, offering the best value pricing in the world today. And you're going to see it in the collections that I created with Swiss Legend, with the casual sport, with the ultra active sport watches. And you're going to see them slowly coming. And today we are debuting, you know, 2 of the collections, or 3 if I'm not mistaken. And this is just the beginning.
Now, for those of you who are maybe not familiar, what we do here at World of Watches, we're as an extension of WorldofWatches.com. We are actually one of the largest online distributors of watches and all different kinds of watch brands in the world. And what we do on World of Watches TV is we bring out these incredible watches and we offer them at a further discounted price and with stress-free payments. So everything that we're going to show you today for 3 hours, including all of these Swiss-made watches, not only will they be further debuted from the website price, but they'll be on 5 interest-free payments, which, of course, in my opinion, is the best way to shop because I love to save money. And if you came into the show with a budget, you can actually use your budget and buy multiple items. And that's the strategy.
That's right. And I think this is the best, you know, opportunity for you, for everybody to see the watches close. And usually in the website, it's very difficult to see in 2 dimensions. Sometimes we have some videos. We're working, by the way, to make videos for all the watches. But so it's better that you can see the watches live. We spend more time on them. I'm coming on the air and explaining about the design and the technical, you know, aspects of the watch. So this is a wonderful opportunity for all of you to just buy the watches and see them, you know, close and buy them.
On these beautiful wrists that we got all ready for television. So we're going to jump right into a preview. We're going to show you a little sample of the first collection that we're going to present, Swiss-made Swiss Legends, called
Blue Geneve.
The Blue Geneve. Here we go. All right, so this first one, this is actually the 3-hand version of the one that you're wearing right now. 287839. Again, all of these items are available right now. Every single day on the website, they're going to be $300. Can you believe we brought them down to 180? These are Swiss-made watches. For the uninitiated out there, Swiss-made watches. This is the creme de la creme. It does not get any better than that. Well, yes.
I have to be honest and say that we actually.
Somebody's going to get in trouble for the pricing?
No, nobody going to get in trouble in pricing, but we actually have a video, but we are not ready with it, but we're going to show it to you in the coming, probably next week.
Be ready next
so
week.
We have an amazing video to show you guys how we're really doing these watches in Switzerland. So basically, those are videos from Switzerland, from the factories in Switzerland, showing you guys how we are doing the cases, how we, how the movements is built. Sometimes we consider like quartz movements as maybe, low-end mechanism or something like this. And we want to show you how much it's involved, how many parts are in quartz movements, Swiss-made quartz movements. And we're going to show you those videos. I'm going to show you how we're making these watches. And you will understand the great and amazing value that you are getting here in World of Watches.
So here's another, we're going to transition now. This is actually, the next one coming up is a ladies' watch. You gave Wiley and I the honor of wearing these on the show a couple of, what was that, like a month and a half ago already?
Right.
It feels like it was just the other day. I wore this on the show for the entire 3 hours. It is so comfortable. What I love about it is because, this might come as a surprise, I'm a very casual person. I like to have watches that are super comfortable, very casual, kind of sporty, but also look expensive.
That's right.
And that's exactly what this watch is. I mean, ladies, this is the kind of watch you'll wear to the gym, you'll wear to the beach, the pool, whatever it is that you're doing. And you've got a mother of pearl dial inside a Swiss-made watch.
200 meter water resistant. The quality of this watch is unbelievable. And we created the Blue Geneve collection as being the core collection of Swiss legend going forward. And
this is it right here. This is going to be the core collection.
This is going to be the core collection, the shape of the case. You're going to see it a lot in different versions, different sizes, ladies, men. And you're going to see it in chronograph, in 3 hands. So this is, we know that this shape with the ceramic, by the way, the top bezel is ceramic inlay. So every part of the watch is quality, every part of the watch.
And you're using some new movements because as we transition to another variation, this next one is actually this is a multifunction that we were talking about.
Lady.
Yeah, and you were saying that this is a movement that we haven't done before.
That's some of those movements we didn't do before, but I was referring to the chronograph version of the Blue Geneve.
Yes, that's right.
That we're going to see soon, the one that I'm wearing also in my hand, my wrist. But yes, those are some of those movements we never used them before. And what I try in this collection is to give alternative to people in different aspects. If it's in terms of strap material, if it's in terms of movement material, and sizes of the watches.
I love the shape of the case and the bezel. That's called, and excuse me if I'm incorrect, it's called a dodecagon.
Yeah.
I was really
it's
bad
even difficult
geometry.
for me to
Yeah, it scares me. I would just call it a unique shape, but it's actually, the technical term is it's dodecagon bezel.
Yes.
Is that wrong?
No,
You're looking at me like maybe I shouldn't have said that.
That's the right thing. That's the right thing. And by the way, we have some clients that we are working with that buying from us for many years. So usually we send them watches before we sell them for just for review, and you should see the reviews that this collection
That must make you feel good.
It's like unbelievable. I don't sleep at night. I just read the reviews. It's like a food for my soul. It's just so
just up all night obsessively
good.
checking your email.
And because I want to learn. I want to learn if we did something right, if we did something wrong, to be able to fix it. So like all the reviews, we're having 5-star reviews in all the Blue Geneve collection, and we are proud of that.
So we're going to actually transition, and we're going to start presenting some of these watches. I've been setting them up over here.
Hey, that's the one.
That's the one. 287825 is the first one. Now, this is the same watch. You're wearing chronograph. This is the chronograph movement that we were saying. You've never used this particular ISA movement before.
No, it's a new chronograph that, as you can see, the sub-dials on 3 and 9, they are absolutely in the center. So this is something that it's, even in Ronda or in other brands, you can find that. They are always a little bit above to be able for the steam to go into the hands. Technically it was very challenging and difficult. This movement came out only this year.
Wow.
It came out only this year, and we have also videos that we're going to share with our people, how we really doing these movements, how the factories are doing this movement, what are quality and high value those movements are.
Now, Niso, can you explain something? Because, of course, people out there are going to be watching this and they're going to be saying Swiss made. They understand, okay, great, it's obviously, it's more than just saying Swiss made on a dial. You have to understand, as I know you do and you've worked with people, that having a Swiss made watch not only means the movement inside is Swiss made, but that at least 60% of the value of the watch is Swiss made parts, that it was actually assembled in Switzerland. All of these things are very timely and pretty difficult to do.
First of all, the factories and the factory that we are associating with in Switzerland have a very, very high level of, how should I say, demands from us as manufacturers.
Because you were saying one time to me before, there aren't 500 different factories in Switzerland, right? There are only a few factories where all Swiss-made watches come from.
That's right. So we have this major factory that we are associating with and working with, and they created a separate plan because the volume of watches and the styles that we are working with them. First of all, every watch that coming there have to be tooled. The parts have to be tooled there for special parts to hold all the parts of the watches and to assemble it in a proper way. The Swiss people have a very, very high standard when it's come to the finish of every part that come together. If the watches are not only assembled there, they are tested there, they are certified there. So basically the Swiss government and the Swiss authorities that have this high and demand from Swiss-made watches from the factories, they are dictating what kind of things we have to follow. And we are following every step, everything, if it's 200 meter, if it's the quality of the polish, if it's quality of the assembling, and everything is tested and retested few times. And that's the reason when the Swiss-made watch is coming, you can be sure that it's tested by the high quality people in Switzerland.
This is very exciting to be able to get all of this. I want you to try this on if that's okay.
Yes.
I want people to also understand that this is a very exciting thing, and obviously you're talking, and of course, when you're saying all of these things, it makes sense to me. Oh, of course, well then that's why a Tag Heuer watch sells for $4,000. That's why we have Breitling watches that sell for $20,000. So how is it then that we're able to have a sub $200 price for a watch that went through all of this rigorous testing, that was actually built and assembled in Switzerland of Swiss-made parts? How is it that we're able to give people the same
Good
quality?
question.
How is it that I can still keep my job?
First of all, it's a good question.
Thank you.
It's a good question, but it's going back to I think it's going back to the core business model of World of Watches. It is really the core decision that we did in the management on how we're going to price our watches and how we're going to market our watches. We really believe that high-end watches that are priced in a very high price for certain reasons that I can talk about it later on, they are really not for everyone. Not everyone can buy equivalent watches to that for $2,000 or $3,000. We believe that quality, everybody can get and supposed to get a good quality of watches. We don't invest in middlemen. We don't invest in advertising. Our boxes are beautiful, but they're not. We don't spend $50 or $100 on the box and try to put it on the watch. So we are trying to focus on the most elementary thing, the quality of the watch, the design of the watch, and the finish of the watch, the styling of the watch. Those are the things that we like to follow, not to make a lot of profit on them, just to move a lot of units. This is our business model here in World of Watches.
So it's kind of like saying that everybody out there, we can own a Swiss-made watch. You don't have to go out and spend thousands of dollars. Because right here we've got watches that feature the same materials, are made in the same factories. I know we're going to transition now to one that's really beautiful. Yes. This blue dial. Last call for that one. Now we'll move on to this one. If you could try this one on. I know you were wearing a two-tone yourself. But it's kind of nice to know that there's so many things out there in fashion and everything that you can buy. They call it the look for less. and you can really get affordable luxury. How perfect that the Blue Geneve with this one has
the
the
blue is
dial.
beautiful.
Can you explain something to me and to our viewers out there? Wiley and I will talk about this on the show sometimes. My boyfriend, for example, really liked a two-tone watch that we had on our website.
Yes.
And he said, I really like the rose tone, but won't the gold chip off? Isn't it going to flake off?
No.
And I thought, oh my God, have you learned nothing? but it's true. Some people out there, and I know he's not the only one, might think, can you explain a little bit about when you see gold tone? This isn't cheap. This isn't fake.
I will explain. I will explain that. I remember in my last visit to the plating factory that I visited, they let me take pictures of every process. But when it's come to this special ovens, and you should see that it's like 6 foot tall. You know, like 20 different ovens, special ovens that you see all the parts inside. They didn't allow me to take picture there. But it's basically, you see, it's a very, very advanced technology. Very advanced technology of anodizing the gold into the steel in such a special and high and technical way. That is obviously there are companies that using less gold. So you can see, and I understand your boyfriend where you're coming from, but we have a very high standard when it's come to plating. So our microns of plating when we plate the gold, the watches is very high, and all the factors that we work with signing on those things. And on those manuals. And if anybody will have any problem with cheap gold or anything that's going on technically on the watch, we are always here because accidents can happen. And we are always here to fix that.
Okay, that's good to know. It's not going to happen, though, because as you're saying, it's multiple passes. But it is nice to know, should you out there really figure out some way to scratch off that gold, there's great warranties, of course, because all of these watches have 5-year warranties on the movement, which, again, it's a Swiss-made watch.
Not only on the movement.
Deal.
Not only on the movement. We have 5 years warranty. Any technical defects that can happen in the watch.
Wow.
If the crown is not closing well, if there is any water resistant issues, if there is any problem with the buckle, any technical issue that we have from the watch because it's built on the wrong way, or if there is anything wrong with the watch, or whatever, just give us a call. We are here. Just give us a call.
Can we flash up Niso's cell phone number now, please, on the screen? All right, 28789. This is the 46 millimeter. This is the two-tone.
That's
with
my
the
favorite.
Rose. You love this one?
That's the flagship. That's the flagship.
Here quickly, we'll mention another one in a two-tone as well. This is the rose and silver tone. Wiley and I will go back, I'm sure, and present all of these. But here's another one. This is the three-hand, black dial, rose tone, and silver tone for the case and bracelet. But what I really want to do is I want to show off the ladies' version now.
Okay.
Enough of the men's watches, because this watch is a 38 millimeter. I went ahead and put this on my wrist. Now, the Blue Geneve does come in a few variations. It comes in multiple variations, but ladies, we get both a bracelet and a strap model to choose from. I went with the strap model on this one because it's so comfortable, but what I want to make note of is most of the time you put a silicone or a rubber strap on and you've got the little buckle. This is a serious closure for a watch that's just on a silicone strap. You actually are using here a push-button dual deployant.
Yes.
For a silicone strap. Tell me why you went ahead and did that.
First of all, we believe that the new line and the new look of the Swiss-made, deserve high and added quality. So, and it's fitting into the watch. You can see that in all the major expensive big watches, that they're adding this. And I wanted to find a way to add value, to add another touch of quality to the watch.
I love this dial piece here. You can see the outer edge where the hour markers are is mother of pearl, which I love. One, because it adds that nice touch of elegance, but also because it is a sport watch. The fact that you get mother of pearl and ceramic. I mean, I have this on with a sweater. I could wear this just as easily out for dinner as I could while diving.
That's the idea about the Blue Geneve. Blue Geneve is a casual sport watches that fitting into any type of lifestyle that you have. If it's in the morning going to the office, if it's, you know, CEOs or people that working in offices or people that working in television or going to the beach or you're going to in the evening, you're going out. This is Blue Geneve. The Blue Geneve is about having a watch and forget about it. Just remember that you have it when you get the compliments.
Where did the name Blue Geneve come from?
Oh, that's cool. That's a good
like
question.
These questions, right? Yeah, I was watching Barbara Walters last
So
night.
actually, you still have a chance. So Blue Geneve is actually came, you know, it's something that I was thinking about. What can symbolize life? What can symbolize beginning? What can symbolize, you know, something fresh? And I come up with, you know, I think the color blue. Blue symbolizes life, water, and the sky. So anything that it's fresh and nice is blue. And the Geneve is obviously because we are, you know, that's the new line and the new way of making Swiss-made watches in a Swiss legend, and that's the core collection. It's like the beginning of the Swiss made.
This is it. This is the beginning of new things.
The new era.
So does that mean we're going to see a lot of Swiss-made watches coming up?
Every new watch of Swiss legend that is going to come, everything going to be Swiss-made going forward. 99% of the watches will be below $200. We're going to have casual sport. We're going to have big 50-millimeter diving, creative diving watches. We're going to have watches for collectors and watches for every day, watches for gifts. This is just the beginning, but we begin with the best.
I transitioned from the sport model or the sportier model here to another ladies variation that's on a bracelet, the two-tone of the rose and silver. I love that this one, it's like every single watch in the collection, even though they're all very cohesive, they each have something a little different. So it feels very special. That feels like a very designer thing to do. Because this one, for example, the entire dial is mother of pearl, whereas that one was just a portion of it.
That's right. So we don't want to make, you know,
the
watches
copy
boring.
over and over
That's
again.
right. We don't want to make the watches boring. So when we decided about the size or about the color combination, we really thought about who is going to be, you know, fitting to. What kind of, you know, age group, what kind of people. We really wanted as much as possible different type of people to enjoy these watches. If it's the sporty ones that want to have a silicone light watch, quality watch in their hand, or ladies that want to have a boyfriend looking watch on their hand, or the stainless steel bracelets, or the oversized 48mm for men. So we really try in the, if I'm not mistaken, like almost 5 to 6 different sizes and variation of the Blue Geneve collection. We try to really hit every, you know, taste.
It feels like there's something
just to
for
make
everyone.
them and to make them a little bit different.
It really feels like there's something for everyone. If you're looking for more of that sport watch that you can wear, maybe you don't need to dress up for an office, you could go for the silicone. But if you want something that has a little bit more of that weighty presence, and I do love that boyfriend style. I think a lot of ladies agree that watches, especially for women, I mean, I'm wearing a watch that's bigger. You had something to do with that watch.
That's a watch that I designed also.
You see, and
Many
I wore
years
blue
ago.
today. It's like I was so prepared. But I think it's nice that this one, for example, could be for a different type of woman. Maybe she doesn't need
That's
a
right.
watch for the gym. And so it's nice that the collection has something for everybody, but it doesn't feel like, oh, this is the exact same as this on a bracelet. They all feel slightly different. Now, the item number for this one is 287833. I know we have more items to get to. We even have another collection that I know we want to get to, including my hot pick. Are we going to be moving on to that one? And we're like sort of moving things around with you here, of course, and since you're here, we
Just
can
to
kind
make
of
it interesting,
Just to make
yeah.
it interesting. 287833. I should mention that these ladies' variations, this one on the bracelet, this is about a 40mm on the wrist, so it's not too big. And it's nice that they're all really curved, which I appreciate. You know, I like when the area by the lug is curved. It wraps around here. Why don't you try this one on? It looks nice with your white shirt. Because I think this could be a unisex size, right?
This is definitely a unisex size, and I have.
This is a 43mm.
We have our top executive in the company, Carly. She's wearing this watch. She took it right away, and she's a lady.
And you can't say no to the executives.
That's right. But on the same time, even though
I think the size looks great on your wrist too.
That's right. you know, it's a matter of how do you feel comfortable with. I know size sometimes scare people when it's come to watches, and they're afraid from sizes of 48 or 45 because they used to have 40 millimeter. But I don't suggest them to or recommend them to worry about it, because our watches are really made to look very nice and comfortable on the hand.
Yeah, that looks great.
You see, it's
not too small at all.
That's right. When I decided about this size, I was thinking about that it can be very good for gentlemen that doesn't want such a big size watch.
Because the other size is a 48.
48. And also for ladies that want to have like a boyfriend watch.
I love that.
That's beautiful.
That's so gorgeous. So this one goes back to the other version that has the mother of pearl around the outer chapter. And then you guys went with ceramic bezel inserts, which is a really, really nice touch there too. Whether or not you're somebody that's going to scratch up your watch, I also think it adds such nice richness, especially when contrasted with the mother of pearl.
I love combining materials. I love combining. That's the reason you saw that also. You just mentioned that every watch looked different. Because it's the easiest thing to go and do all the collection, the same finish. But I love to combine materials, and it's materials of, you know, a different sort of mother of pearl and ceramic and other things. And I will continue to do that with all the watches that I'm designing. Always surprising, always giving the value and the quality for the people in the best price we can.
So we're going to go to one more watch, which is actually my hot pick right after this. I had to go with the Legacy.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the Blue Geneve, but when I saw a sport luxury watch that had diamonds on it, I mean, you know I couldn't say no to something like this. This is gorgeous. This is also a 200-meter diver. It's also a Swiss-made watch. It's about a 38.5 millimeter on the wrist, and now we've got diamonds. So this one, you actually gave it a little bit of bling for that sport watch.
First of all, I love bling, and I know the ladies
I love when
bling.
a man says he loves diamonds.
What's nice about it is that to create a watch, Swiss-made, mother of pearl, 200-meter, deployment buckle, diamonds, under $200. Show me another watch like this in the market.
Look at how gorgeous this mother of pearl is in here.
Even mother of pearl, it's extremely difficult to find and to select the right colors
And
for
why
the
is
watch.
that?
Because mother of pearl, it's a natural thing. So not all natural
Are perfect.
Are perfect, and not all of them look the same. And we really want for the watches to have the same face, more or less. So we are looking for the highest grade of mother of pearl. That you see these different colors, like a rainbow color, something like a greenish colors. That means that's a quality mother of pearl dial, because otherwise you don't see the shiny, you don't see the spark.
So this is my hot pick for the day, the Legacy Diamond. I know we will go into a little bit more of a presentation. I know I have to let you go. Apparently you have another job around here.
I think so, yeah.
I know, unfortunately. But you're going to be coming back because, not today, I know, but you did bring out, I was saying earlier that it's like, I feel like a kid on Christmas when Niso comes to visit. He comes in with the tray of all prototype watches. Of course, we had to get like security to keep Wiley away from drooling all over them. See, he's getting upset because we just get so excited. So there are more designs coming up, not just from Swiss Legend, but you've got more Lucian Piccard.
I love to design, I love to create new stuff, and you're gonna see every day now, like you saw in Lucian Piccard, Swiss Legend, Ben & Sons, Eleni, Redline, you're gonna see sea of watches, sea of new watches, and just the show is just beginning now.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to have you back again. Thank you so much for coming out here. All right,
Thank
so
you.
Wiley, don't move anywhere yet. He's like, get me the hell out of here. All right, 289-550. This is my hot pick, the 38mm Legacy. We are going to transition to some other watches. We're going to go back to all of the Swiss-made Swiss Legends. Thanks again, Niso. But something very exciting that we're also doing right now is bringing out another new brand, Adaku, that we have actually never aired on the show before. And you know what's interesting is that this brand right here, many of you know it, other watch lovers out there, those of you who shop with other companies, you've seen this Adaku represented on a lot of other networks and places. And you know what we always have here at World of Watches? we have the lowest price guarantee. We always guarantee the very best and low prices, I should say. So 288994. Here, for the very first time, we're presenting the 52 millimeter from Adaku. I'm going to get this all set up. It is a big men's watch, but while we wait for Wiley transition back on air, I want you guys to see this. Now, this is a lot of watch. This is all stainless steel with a nice thick 52 millimeter case on a bracelet. This is great for those of you out there, you bigger guys out there, or guys that are craving a bigger watch, because your bracelet can accommodate nearly 10-inch wrist size. So you will be totally set up for this. Coming in closer, we'll show you what's going on inside the dial here. You got a bit of a texture inside the dial with a 2-eye chronograph configuration. Of course, as I always say when I see things like this, this is one of those watches where you look into it with the expanded date window down from the 4 to 7 o'clock position and the 2-eye chronograph. This is the kind of thing where I see a face in there. Maybe the kind of watch that'll always make you a little happy when you're wearing it. Got a little bit of a soft textured dial. You can see your continuous running seconds are for the sub-dial between the 1 and 3 o'clock position. And then, of course, your short time totalizer once you were to start this chronograph, which would use that for up to a full 30 minutes. You've got a real industrial look here going on with the screws in the lugs that are actually fully functioning to hold the bracelet and case together. This is kind of a cool one to be transitioning to from the Swiss Legend, from the Blue Geneve, because notice that you've got that beveled designed case, much like we saw on the Blue Geneve. Integrated bracelet, all done in silver tone. Again, this is a bigger watch. This is a 24 millimeter non-tapered bracelet. And who better to try on a bigger watch than my big old co-host right here? I don't know where that was coming from. Hey, Wiley's back. I'm so glad you're here now, except now, because I was just with Niso for a half hour, I'm going to expect you to speak in an accent.
Do you smell cognac and fine cigars?
Isn't it fabulous?
Oh my goodness.
Why don't you try on this massive 52 millimeter Adaku?
This is and I got to do product videos last week for this particular brand, and I have to say I have loved the design and the quality that they've put into it, yet they have not exceeded a price point where you're thinking, oh my goodness, that's really stepping out of the ballpark. Look at that. Now, again, sometimes people want to know why I'm always mentioning wrist size.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we listened to your comments, and somebody said, sometimes Megan's talking about her wrist size, Wiley's talking. We want you to have an idea of how it may fit on your wrist, because everybody comes in different shapes and sizes. So if you hear us talking about wrist size, it's not because we're wanting to broadcast the sizes of our wrist, other than that for you to be able to compare how this might transition onto your wrist. Now, this is a big and bold design, but look at that. Now, I think one of the things I like best is that the bezel of this watch comes with both of those colors, that dark black and that red, that ruby red that's in there. This is a beautiful watch, and you're going to appreciate just the amount of bracelet that you're getting with this and how comfortable it is. And the amazing thing is all of this for under $65. Only $13 gets it home. That's your first of 5 stress-free, interest-free payments. And I have to say, this is going to be a great addition to our collection. And I'm not sure if, when we were reading through surveys and seeing what you out there at home want, Adaku is one of the brands that folks mention because they may have seen it on other networks. Well, you know what? If it can show up somewhere else, it's going to be here.
And what's great, as I was saying,
do that.
Is that we have the price match guarantee, so we always have the best possible prices. So if you were to ever find this watch somewhere else for lower, we match that price.
And if we ever do make a mistake and, for heaven forbid, price something higher than this, you call us because we're friends. We'll fix that for you.
You can call Wiley.
Yeah, that's
288-994. We'll move on from this Adaku. We're actually going to transition to some Ben & Sons. We wanted to get Niso out here for some of these because he was pretty involved with the Ben & Sons watches as well. And what's amazing is when he saw these Voyagers in our lineup when he was getting ready to come on air today, he was remarking about the fact that he didn't even know anything that we were going to be putting him on the spot with. That's why we did just the Swiss Legends. But he was remarking on the fact that these Voyager watches, and they've only been out about 3 weeks now, are so crazy, crazy popular. They are, like, we're already selling out of some of the color variations that we've got, and they're brand new.
I've really enjoyed Ben & Sons, but I've seen it as very much an adventure watch, a very casual watch. And I thought, I've got enough of those. I'm okay. And then this one came along, and it was like, okay, the perfect fit. It steps it up a bit so that if you did have to wear it to the office, you're not going to feel embarrassed at all. You're going to feel really good about this watch. Absolutely beautiful. And it comes in two varieties, both the one I have in my hand and the one you have in yours. I have the silver tone right now. And you really need to see this watch in person. Because at first you're going to go, is that really Ben & Sons? Because you're thinking field watch, military style. Well, I guess this is what the general would wear.
Yeah.
If the other was for the foot soldiers and everybody else, this is the general's watch. Because there is just something sophisticated about it, even though you have very much an homage to the military style. There's just something a little classier about the watch. Don't you love the fact that they've done real engraving on there? That's just not poured into a mold and stamped out. That's engraved. Again, every time you see a detail like that, like engraving, or you have other details within the watch that you know have brought up the price point, but yet look at that, it's under $95. Now, I think this watch is ideal because it has that great combination of both casual and a little bit of sophistication. Now, Megan, what's the official size of this? I'm measuring it out around 47.
Okay, so the thing is, this is actually a
look at the
watch
shape.
that measures bezel edge to bezel edge, excuse me, at 44 millimeters, but you're getting a larger readout
wears
there
larger.
because
The
of
lugs.
the thickness of the lug. So it will wear larger. I think it's going to wear closer to about a 45.5, 46 millimeter, but because of the construction of it, you'll still get that nice, comfortable fit.
And one of the things, dear audience, you asked of us is, could we make sure we're giving as much specs on the watch? Can we make sure we give you as much detail as possible without putting you to sleep, of course? And we're going to try to do that. So make sure that you pay close attention, because hopefully we're giving you all the information you want. But then again, if you do want additional information, you have to go to the World of Watches website, because there is a page attached to every watch that gives you more information. If you can't sleep at night, go to our website. Begin reading through watch specs, and I promise you will go to sleep. But for those of you out there that love that info, it's there. We'll try to give you as much as possible, too.
That's right. This is the VD53 with date quartz chronograph movement. That is a Japanese chronograph quartz movement. You know what I like that they did with these watches is, because they have that vintage styling, they didn't go with a croco emboss or a printed strap. They went with the traditional smooth leather.
And I think that would address it up too much for this style. They've still kept it in, I think, what I would consider a military style, that very smooth leather, something you might find in the field. Yet they did still doing stitching around the side, and that stitching is complementary to it, not contrasting. So when you see it, you may miss it at first, but there's some beautiful stitching that's right through there. Notice that I have this on the tightest configuration. Again, you're saying it's 44. It may measure as much as 47 if you go from lug to lug. But as you're looking here, I want you to see the length of that strap. If you have a very large wrist, don't worry, this is going to accommodate.
That's right. It'll accommodate actually up to a 9-inch wrist. So it's
And
quite...
that's pretty good.
Our company-owned brands, Swiss Legend, Lucian Piccard, Ben & Sons, and such, Eleni Barocas, our straps actually accommodate at minimum up to 9 inches. So you'll always, with our brands, get a strap length that can accommodate up to a 9-inch wrist. At least. Some of them will even go over that to almost 10 inches. Here's another variation. If I could just hold up yours next to mine. So here, you can see you've got the VD53 with date. That was the one that Wiley had on. This one is a much cleaner 3-hand configuration. Japanese movement, again, inside. You've got your 3 hands, so your hours, minutes, seconds. Notice how this goes back to what Niso was talking about with some of the new collections that are under his helm. Notice how this watch is so different as far as the details in the dial, even though it's a part of the exact same collection. You'll notice on this one, it's almost reversed. The inner ring of that dial is a 12-hour chapter ring that lines up perfectly with your outer edges, which when you look at the larger numerals, you would expect those to be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. But that's actually the minute scale. So it's really cool, that military design that they've done here, where your 12-hour ring is on the center portion, and then the minute scale is on the outer edge. Most of the time, you see that opposite. You would see the 1 here, the 2, and that's different than the watch that you had on. This one even also features a few pops of blue, the yellow hour markers on the black dial backdrop. You can see I too have it on the tightest closure, but it's still very, very easy to wear. I love the slight bubbling there of the crystal, again, because this is a vintage style. They want to give you something that overall, even down to the glass they use, looks like something that would have been around during that era. We get a 5-year warranty on this, ladies and gentlemen, and 5 payments. So think about that. $65 watch, your price, not $65 worth of watch. 5 payments, that means you put down $13 on any major credit card. We ship this out to you tomorrow. That's how easy it is. We process these orders and we ship them the next day. You'll be wearing this within a matter of days. One last look there. I just wanted you to see that curvature. And away we go. There it goes. Moving on to a Lucian Piccard. This is one of those newer. It's so funny because now we have so many new items that come out every single week. We're like, oh, the Messina debuted 3 weeks ago. It's old news.
And you know, I think we get used to it. But and by the way, Niso, because that's what I like to call him. He
prefers sir.
He prefers yes. Oh, I love when he says get out of my office. But he did say to both of us, please come by. You have to see. I mean, every day he said I'm getting prototypes in, and you must see what's going on. Do you notice what's on my other wrist? You notice when Nisa walked out.
He was looking?
He was, because I actually have one of the prototypes.
I knew he was looking around. I knew you were going to
He was trying to find it. I took it out of the tray. I am so in trouble. Yes, this watch has never been seen to the world, so that's when it's up and coming, so keep your eyes peeled. This is a fantastic watch because you're getting 2 movements. Please notice that there are 2 crowns on this watch. That means there's 2 individual movements, and each movement has its own warranty. Now, you'll notice with the larger time display that you have the hour, the minute, and a small seconds for your seconds, and the additional subdial is for your secondary time zone. Now, the first one is the VD78 movement, and then you have the SII VC10 smaller movement. Now, you're also going to appreciate that the fact they didn't just stick 2 movements in there, they've also put a lot of style in the watch. The Blue Geneve, which is the beautiful Geneva waves running vertically on the watch. Notice that they've created almost like a 3-eye configuration with a large dial, a smaller small second style, and then an even smaller for that additional time zone. Maybe you've got somebody that's across the country or across the world, just like Megan has friends all around the world. I love
do. I'm
the fact.
International, Wiley.
I love that. And you have somebody in, is it in Israel or in?
Yeah, she lives in Tel Aviv.
And just by, just changing this 1 crown, you simply have a secondary time zone. Or maybe you are constantly popping around the country and you would like to have that time listed at home or where you're going. So easy to do. You don't have to wait for a cell phone to catch up or go through 4 apps to find out what's going on. Before we do that, could you come back just for a second? I want to make sure that folks can see how this works. Now, before I put this watch on my wrist, I want you to see right here how this works. Sometimes when you get these watches home, the deployant, which is this part right here, is wait to be set. And we get a lot of calls about it. All you have to do is open the top of this. Oop, our graphic right there reciting. My apologies. When you open that right there, it allows you to thread this through. And Nisa wanted to make sure that we showed this to you. Now, once you decide on the size that you would like, you simply click that into place and it locks. Now, some of you may find that, you know what, I've locked it and now I have a hard time getting that back through there, and you're bending the strap a lot trying to get it through these, and you may even stretch these out if you don't know how to close it. All you want to do is, before you snap it, go ahead and thread that through. Then, as this closes, it will snap into place, and this is already threaded through the 2 keepers. That's going to allow these not to be damaged, and it's going to make the strap last so much longer. Now let me put this on the wrist so you can see how that fits. And it's easy to adjust. I was amazed that they used that deployant on a silicone strap. But boy, it certainly did look nice. All right, let's take a look at this timepiece. Now, again, this is a brand new design. Don't let us get too comfortable with it, because this 44mm case is holding, again, 3 different dials and 2 different movements. Only 44mm. It's going to wear larger because the bezel is very thin. There's not a whole lot of ornate work on that bezel. Now, you will notice that the sides of the watch, the case, is done in a satin finish. The bezel is done in high mirror polish. then you have all of that decoration going on in the dial. Not just a Cote de Genève that's going on, but also notice how they have kind of whited out the center so it just really stands out a bit more. Sometimes when you see them put multiple movements in, they forget to do a little bit of decoration, and it looks odd because you have nothing to fill the space. This, by using the setup, really does fill it well, easy to read, comfortable on the wrist, and this watch certainly does deserve the Croco embossed leather strap. Try to say that 3 times fast.
You get thrown off television.
You really will if you mess that up. Don't worry, they'll take care of all that in editing. I think this Lucian Piccard absolutely looks beautiful. Now, what did you like best about this?
Well, I was going to say that what's nice about it with all of the different layout and the different dials, you are getting 2 completely independent time zones, and I was going to reference the fact that for $120 and you've got 2 movements inside there, you'll actually get 2 5-year warranties individually on those movements, which is a nice thing because in case something happens to one portion of it, you know, you're completely covered for the entire watch. I love the decoration that it almost looks like those Geneva waves, so it almost looks like you're looking into an exhibition case back and seeing the inside of a mechanical or an automatic watch, and we show you all of the decoration, so that's really beautiful. So I like that these watches, even when they seem straightforward, oh, okay, it's black and silver tone, there's something to be said about having work done inside the dial, and yet it doesn't feel too cluttered. Sometimes, as we know, dials can feel a little bit busy, and that's
overwhelming.
Cool. There's a time and a place for that. I mean, we're still traumatized from some of those Citizen watches that we've had to air before, where we're
the
like,
Alta depthometer.
oh my God, no, I don't want it, I don't want it. But it's got a lot going on, but it's still very clear and easy. Speaking of things that have a lot going on, we're going to go to another watch.
Oh, we have more stuff.
This is a watch that, how funny, when Miso was looking at our lineup beforehand, and of course, not only is he dialed in on all of the different watches that
no
they're
pun
designing.
there.
Yeah, I see what you did.
Yeah.
But it's funny
Watch
because
joke.
he picked up this watch and he said, oh, this is so good, you have this in the show. It's killing it on the website. This watch is one of the best-selling Lucian Piccard watches right now on the website, and it's relatively new.
Yeah, this is breaking records on this because there's just something about it that maybe harkens back to a slightly different era, but it really has a modern feel to the watch.
But it's another one of those that has a busier dial while still sort of maintaining an elegant look.
I think you're exactly right, and this is a multi-layered dial. And as they draw in even closer, you're going to see in the very back part of the dial that there is that Cote de Genève, the Geneva waves, running this time horizontally. And you can see them right back there. And then as the eye branches out from that 3-hand configuration, the hour, the minute, and a locked into place sweep hand, you begin to notice 2 additional subdials for the chronograph and those interlocking circles that become almost transparent, almost skeletonized, allowing you to see more, there it is right there, more of that decoration underneath. And then you come to this chapter ring on the outer part that has your individual seconds, because you notice the hour markers are very visible on the inner part of the chapter ring. In the outer part, you have all the way down to the finite seconds, so that when you start the chronograph, it's not just another pretty face. It really is functional. You also have a date complication at the 6 o'clock position, which is going to make this very, very comfortable. Now, the case is 45 millimeters. Now, the movement inside is a Japanese quartz VK64A. And you're going to really appreciate that's going to be reliable and accurate for years to come. Now, you also have a 60-minute and a 24-hour totaler that is a part of your chronograph. Simply starting it by the pusher at the 2 o'clock starts and stops, and there's our reset right there. Notice how that snaps into place.
That's actually a new movement for us. Most of the time when we see these movements and we use these chronographs, you'll notice that once we hit the reset button, it continues to make its way all the way around the dial. This one's snapping back. That VK movement, we have not used that before. So that's actually a really cool snap back chronograph.
Well, that is what you would see on an automatic. Now, for those of you out there who may think for a moment that, you know, oh, I don't want a quartz movement, and sometimes it's easy to pick out the things. Maybe you're going to be around some of your watch friends and they're going to realize, oh, it's really easy to tell that's quartz, and maybe sometimes that can mean a less expensive watch, even though we have some high-end brands that still use quartz movements. This watch, when you start and stop, and this is what Megan was talking about, you'll notice that the sweep hand is going into place. Now, when I stop this, Normally what would happen is when I hit the reset, that's going to swing all the way around. That's just what a quartz watch does.
Yep.
Notice when we do this, it just snapped backwards. You don't.
How about if it kept moving? That would have been awkward, right?
Well, I guess we'll move on. Welcome to World of Sunglasses. Let's move on to our secondary job. By the way, we do have great sunglasses.
Yeah, we do have great sunglasses, but sorry, I couldn't help myself.
Do you know how many brands of, how many individual sunglasses we have on
Like
the website?
1,300?
Yes. How did you know that?
Because I'm always shopping for sunglasses.
I think it looks great. This is a good-looking watch, even from a distance. Look at that.
I was thinking, you know what's nice about this is it almost has kind of like it's not an optical illusion, I know that. But in thinking of how to sort of describe it, because it's a multi-level dial, it's actually pretty cool. And it's almost like how you have a shirt on that looks solid, but you can see it's a subtle print on it, a subtle design. It's got the same thing inside the dial. You see it and you think, oh, it's a black and rose dial. But then it's upon closer look that you see the different windows and cutaways, and it's really cool. It's just another one of those that we're offering, these brand new Lucian Piccard watches. Again, look, we've seen 2 Lucian Piccard watches now in the course of 5 minutes that both have movements that we don't normally use. So this is almost, as Nisa was talking about earlier, like ushering in a new generation, a new era here with our company-owned brands. It's across the board. It's not even just with the Swiss-made Swiss legends. It's almost every single watch coming out now has updated movements, has updated materials, different designs. I mean, it's nice that we have something for everyone, but I'm the kind of person that appreciates things that have a lot going on inside the dial, so I kind of like that.
I'm going to let in one of the watch secrets. Watch secret. If you have a quartz movement, you automatically use a lighter case for the watch. It's less expensive and it doesn't have to be as durable as a watch movement, say for an automatic watch, which is the prototype I'm wearing right now. And
sorry, that was me rolling my eyes. Did you hear that?
it's very similar to the watch that I purchased about 3 weeks ago.
Oh, here we go.
But what we're doing now, and Nisa, I think this was so fantastic. He said, we're going to start using the automatic watch cases, which are heavier, thicker, more durable, and more expensive, because we want every watch from the automatic all the way down to that quartz movement to feel and to be as elegant and as well designed as we can do it. When you pick up the watch, you automatically think that's an automatic. And you're going to have a hard time if we laid out the automatics and the quartz movements to see which one is which just by feel. Absolutely fantastic.
Now we are going to move on to another Lucian Piccard watch, one that you love very much.
I just bought it.
Oh, so you did get this exact
I am
one.
not
I know
kidding.
You were deciding,
I bought this watch.
So you were deciding between this one, the black and silver, and the black and rose. And it was really, we were all sort of challenged here to figure out which one we liked better. Because normally I'm a black and rose kind of girl, but the silver tone and black on this watch, I really think is the standout.
You know, whenever Niso is here, it's always like you said, Christmas. I'm hoping that he's going to have watch gifts for us. And I said, oh, I just bought one of your watches. And I was hoping he would say, oh, why don't you take a prototype home or something like that.
No, not going to happen.
You know what he said? He goes, oh, you're going to need more money. Because we have a lot more really nice watches coming. And you know what? He's right. All right, I want you to take a look at the Matador. Now, when we visited with him, even before these were released, one of the things he told us that really kind of set us back was there's 200 parts inside of this watch. Now, to look at the price point and realize this should be at the $1,000. The fact that they're putting this at $349, and this is probably, to me, one of the most beautiful Lucian Piccards I've seen in generations. Now, many of you may remember the old Lucian Piccard watches, and they truly were works of art. And those watches were absolutely gorgeous.
Does anybody else see a face inside this dial?
You're like a walking Rorschach.
I know.
You know
I see. Come on. Nobody else sees it?
I do see it.
With the 2 eyes, it doesn't look like a happy face. Yeah, it looks like a frowny face.
Do you
Looks
hear
like
the
that
voices
sad
again,
emoji.
Megan? Are they talking to you? Lucian Piccard's been around since 1923, building watches. And I think now, as the keepers of that brand, we're stepping forward in a way to really bring back an elegance in watchmaking. Now, it's a 46mm case. It has a 42 jewel movement inside, and of course, that's the 2HR851 movement. All of this still with 50 meters of water resistance. And if you think this watch is beautiful on the front, looking into that dual barrel, and this is called the Matador, because once again, it's the watchmaker's genius. He said, when I saw those 2 barrels, kind of just beating hearts, standing face to face to each other, I saw a Matador and a bull just holding their own. both very strong and just in a standoff. And I thought it was a beautiful image. I don't know if he just made that up, but it really was cool that he told me that. And I'll remember it always.
Now, these are also limited editions.
Oh, you're not kidding.
I'm not.
There is a limited, only like 200 of each of these.
So that means you've got one of them. So
Correct.
there are only 199 others around the world, I suppose. And that's it.
That's it. And you've got the hour, the minute, the continuously operating sweep hand, 2 beating hearts, a secondary time zone, because it's a GMT, Greenwich Mean Time. And if you see this right here, going, what in the world is that? This is I love it, on a price point watch. I mean, we have a Maurice Lacroix that has a power
Yes, we
indicator.
do.
You're going to pay a whole lot more money. But you notice how that little bit of turning and rotating is causing the power indicator to just really charge up. It's letting you know how much you have in there. Because if you have a watch that has a power reserve on it, and this has 44 hours of power reserve, okay, if I've let this sit for a day or so, how much do I have left? Was
Yeah.
it fully wound when I left it last? Now you can tell.
That almost works like a gas gauge, because as the power depletes, that little hand will slowly make its way back down.
Now, we want to show you what's inside. You're getting 316L stainless steel. Now, what is the importance? We talk about that a lot. This is kind of like those so what. We tell you stuff, and the first thing you should ask is so what? And we should too. Okay, it's 316L stainless steel. So what? What does that mean? I brought in a watch last week that looked like it had been dropped in a blender.
Oh, no.
Oh,
What
it
did
was.
you do?
It had been dropped in a blender. No, it was just absolutely trashed from time. Now, what's the benefit of 316L stainless steel? The watchmakers took it, and because this is not a chrome coating that'll polish off, they were able to make that watch. I've actually sent them 2 now. I'm telling you, like brand new.
Oh, what a nice feeling.
So this watch, if over time all the high polished pieces suddenly get scuffed up, you can have it professionally polished back to new. Now look at that great movement on the inside. Now this does not have any sort of battery in it. Just the mere motion of your wrist is going to cause that watch to be powered up. And of course you can't see the beating hearts because there they are right there. Take a look at this beauty shot of the watch. You can see it even clearer. They do such a great job with those. I'll slip it on the wrist, and you can see how this 46-millimeter case looks on my wrist. The good news, you know I love this. I bought it in silver. But you also have a hand in this because it also comes in.
It also comes in rose tone.
Oh, an absolutely rose tone gold. And I love how he talked about the depth of the microns in those gold plating. Being able to see that process and knowing this is not just, spray painted on.
No, of course not. When you wear a plated watch or a rose tone or a gold tone watch, what is touching your skin and what is viewable to others on your wrist is solid gold. So
That's
who
exactly
cares?
right. Now, there is a little bit of thickness to this watch, but you'll notice even at a distance, the watch is comfortable, it is easily seen, and there is great visual presence to this watch. I mean, don't you love that? Do you like
I love
this?
your pose.
Do you like?
Don't I just
This
look
is the
so
official
good?
watch pose. What am I supposed to do? Do
so
you have
awkward.
another pose?
You guys have to understand that, like, before we started doing these jobs, we never cared about, like, I certainly never cared about, like, if I had a scratch on my hand, how my arm hair looked, and now it's like everything is constantly under a microscope
She's
here.
constantly
I was-
putting little rollers in her arm hair so she has a nice perm.
It's not too tall, though. I mean, you've worn it on the show, and I know he...
Oh, yeah.
It's funny, he really has been wanting to get this for a while, because, what was it, last week on the show, you were wearing it, like, to practice,
Yes.
to see how it felt on your wrist. And, even seeing it with a dress shirt, it's not so big and bulky. I mean, we have some of, like, the high-end Swiss-made watches, like the really elegant ones. Sometimes they're a little bit, like, thicker, more awkward case. This, because the strap drops right down from the lugs, it curves around quite nice. Yeah, see, I mean, it's not, like, cumbersome. It doesn't look like you're wearing a crazy
look,
watch.
that wrist still, is allowed to slide in. You're not locked in there.
What are you doing?
I am showing that if you're wearing it like you would normally do, and you're like, oh, what's the time? It's not like stuck under there, and
Yeah,
you're like,
I know.
well, forget it. No, that is easy to tell the time, and it looks good. Now, yes, it is a little bit higher watch. There's a thickness to it because of that movement and the dual barrels, the dual beating hearts in there. But you're going to love how it looks, and I promise it'll be one of the most complimented watches you've ever worn.
All right, so before we wrap this hour, I want to let you know of a few items that unfortunately we just did not have a chance to get to so far this hour. So we're going to mention a few to you. Ready, set? First one up that we want to remind you of is the SXC, the Space Exploration Corporation. This watch from Luminox at 46 millimeters is all carbon and rubber. That is because this watch isn't just designed for the Space Exploration Corporation. It is actually worn by astronauts and those working in space right now. How cool is that? It's a GMT, which means you get a secondary time zone. You've got a bi-directional bezel on there, so you can turn it in both directions. You've got 200 meters of water resistance in a Swiss-made watch. I think this is probably one of the lowest prices we have ever had the Space GMT collection at, so please take advantage. It's a $500 Swiss-made professional diver from Luminox with a GMT. You've got a Ronda movement inside, 5 payments. That means we'll let you pay it off over 5 months, and we'll still ship it to you after your first payment. You put $46 down on any major credit card, 236-773 is coming your way.
One of the others we did not get a chance to is one of our own brands, and we want to make sure we give it a little time here with the red line Jetstream. Now, this watch really does look like if you had your own personal Learjet, if you were jet setting like you were last week on the corporate
Swiss Legend jet.
Beautiful aircraft. But be able to see this watch in person, it really looks great. Now, you're also getting a lot of functionality within this. Now notice right there in that beauty shot, there's 2 additional crowns hidden on the other side of the watch. It looks like a single crown with your main time, but you also have 2 additional time zones, and they are all within that case. So you have 3 movements. Each of them has a 5-year warranty. And I love what Niso said about, if there is a technical difficulty with the watch, something that is attached to the movement, whether it is the crown or some other piece of the watch that somehow had that level of malfunction. Now, what is the size on this watch?
This is a 50 millimeter.
Is it really?
So it's a bigger case overall. Now, what's nice is even though it's all stainless steel, you've got it on a silicone strap. So it's going to be a bigger watch, but it's going to be lighter in weight because it's on a strap. $100, and as Wiley said, we're calling it a multifunction, but it's actually 3 different time zones inside one dial. 288-306, $20 down, ships it. And lastly, the Sultan automatic is gorgeous. Now, this is a 44 millimeter case. You've got a grade A Seagull automatic movement inside, but you know what's so wonderful is you can really see into that automatic movement thanks to the skeletonized dial. That allows you to see into all of those springs and gears, everything that works together when we talk about an automatic movement that actually keeps the time. Not only that, but it's a multi-function. So you've got a secondary time zone and you've got the days of the week. Black and rose, so in my opinion, it's one of the most elegant. They've left the outer edge of the dial there so you can still see the hour markers. I think that's a nice convenience. And it's just $160. I mean, this is the kind of watch you can wear, gentlemen, with a suit, comfortably, confidently, and it'll set you back $32 right now. 287-741, the Sultan automatic. It's a multi-function from Lucian Piccard. All right, well, we have made it to our second hour together. For those of you who missed last hour, we debuted some pretty amazing Swiss-made Swiss Legend watches. So we are going to be able to bring those right back out. We don't want anybody to miss it. We did have Niso Brokus out here who was able to kind of give us a little bit of information and kind of the inspiration behind these company-owned brands and sort of the design aesthetic that they're going into. I know that I made my hot pick one of the new Swiss-made Swiss Legends. I can't wait to see what you came up with.
I chose the Matador.
Oh, really? That was your hot pick?
That's it.
Oh, well, then we can talk about mine because I can't wait to get to it.
Oh, we'll go ahead.
But we are going to debut more. Every single item in the 3 hours today are going to be on 5 interest-free, stress-free payments. It's the best way to shop all the way around. Because what that means is you'll see the discounted price, and then you'll see how it's broken out into 5 payments. And all you have to do is put down your first payment, and we ship you the watch. It's that easy. And remember, it's not an interest plan. It is all interest-free, and it's optional, too. If you feel comfortable putting out $160 or whatever the total amount is, you are more than welcome to. We love the stress-free payments just as the convenience of, you know what, if you're budgeting, but you think, I can't let this one pass up, I'd really like to get it, or I know people don't like when we talk about the holidays, but we are getting closer to the holidays.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about wanting to get your loved ones some nice gifts, but maybe, oh God, well, is it the 1st or the 15th? Well, I don't know. When am I going to get paid? Stress-free payments are a great way to do it because you really can pay them off, and it's super easy to do. It's not layaway. We always ship you your watches after your first payment.
And it does need to be on a credit card.
Oh yeah, it's a credit card.
If you're going to do stress-free payments, put it on the credit card.
That's right. And most debit cards, just make sure, can run as credit. So if yours can, I have a debit card that can run as credit, that is totally fine. So it's just something to keep in mind. All right, we are going to now jump into a preview and show you a little sample of what's coming up in our second hour together.
Oh, that's nice.
So this is that Blue Geneve collection that Niso Barocas brought out just 1 hour ago. Now we do have multiple sizes and variations of these watches. The ladies' versions are between 38 and 40. The men's are between 46 and 48. They wear closer to that larger size. 287842. Swiss-made Swiss legend. How exciting is this? Here, you've got all 18-karat rose tone for your case and your bracelet. Your bezel insert is ceramic. Your Swiss-made watch also features mother of pearl, and again, 200 meters of water resistance. 287842, 5 payments of $36.
Here is a beautiful Swiss legend, multifunction, that I think is in such a classic configuration. This is one of those no-brainer watches. And I'm going to say this, you'll know what I mean. It is such a safe bet that if somebody was the super watch collector, this is going to be like, oh wow, I appreciate that. Or if somebody has no idea what they want, this is one of those classic configurations that's going to be easy to appreciate. You have that gorgeous mother of pearl dial. You have 3 sub-dials for your chronograph function. Remember, this is a multi-function, so you're not going to have just, multiple seconds showing. Look, you actually have a 24-hour indicator. You have a day of the week. You have a date complication on there. All of this at a fraction of the price of what you would normally expect to pay for a watch of this quality. Again, 316L stainless steel, a 5-year movement on this watch, $184.99. That is incredible for a watch that easily should sell for that $300 to $400 price point. Now, the list price on this is giving you a suggestion because do you realize, go ahead and price it like other Swiss-made watches. We can name off a few brands that this would probably be equivalent to, and you're easily going to be in that $600, $700, and $800 price point. 289544 for this beautiful Swiss legend multifunction. And
this is incredible. I don't even remember this in this color variation. This is the new Polaris from Lucian Piccard. It is a multi-function. You have this absolutely exquisite multi-level, multi-textured blue dial. It's a 45mm case. Of course, you've got the Safitech crystal on there, 316L surgical grade steel, and 30 meters of water resistance, 288892. I also love the T-bar style lugs that attach the integrated bracelet system. $125 is a steal. Even better though, 5 payments of $25. 288892. Moving on to my hot pick, which I briefly touched on last hour with Niso. This is the all-new Legacy from Swiss Legend, a Swiss-made watch that I have to tell you right now, I am 100% getting in this exact variation as soon as we are able to here, because I love this. 289550. So here's what makes this a great option for me, and maybe for you ladies out there. This is the kind of watch that, if you look at it, on a silicone strap, with 200 meters of water resistance, with the multi-function calendar, in a lot of ways is the kind of watch that you can very, very easily wear on the weekends or after work, when you're being casual. For me, on the weekends, I go to the beach, I ride my bike, I go to the gym. I want something that is comfortable, that is easy to wear, and that I don't have to worry about. So I can wear it to the gym and then just easily wear it to the beach. I don't have to take off my watch, swap it out. Just that one sort of does everything. Now, imagine how great it is, and when we come in closer, this is where you'll really see the superstar, that the same watch that is built to be worn at the beach and at the gym looks like this. Look at the A grade mother of pearl dial. Now remember, last hour when Niso was out here and we were talking about this watch, because of course he has his hand in every single step of our watch designing and manufacturing process, he was talking about the fact that, as we know, mother of pearl being made in nature, no two dials will ever look alike. But what's also very interesting to know is that no two dials are ever guaranteed to be perfect. So what that means is it takes a lot of time and there's a lot of waste when you think about all of the mother of pearl that just wasn't good enough to make it into a watch. Now you see I was messing with the subdials here because it's a multi-function. You'll notice that you've got your traditional date wheel right here. So I just moved that using the upper pusher. So now here I have it set for the 20th. You've got this lower pusher here that works for the 24-hour chapter ring. Now watch this. This is a Swiss ISA 9238 multifunction movement. When I use that lower pusher, it's actually a secondary time zone. So you can see here that you could actually set that to be a GMT, or what you could do is set it to be the military equivalent of the currently displayed hours. So I'm going to set that for the 10 here to say that if this is 10:07, that little hand here pointing to the 10, that means it's AM. But you have the option. And then at the 9 o'clock side, you've got your days of the week. So you've got this great multi-function design on a mother of pearl dial that also has diamonds in the bezel. And you can see here, you've actually got 12 individual diamonds, and they are set in what is called an illusion setting. And that means the stainless steel has actually been machined and milled out to give the appearance of even more diamonds on the wrist. How amazing is that? So your diamonds in the illusion setting, from afar, it actually looks like there's more bling than is actually on the watch. So for me, I like that because one, it keeps the cost a little bit
Way
lower.
down, sure.
But also, when you look down at it, and you'll even be able to see it closer under the studio lights, when the light hits that stainless steel, it still has the same sparkle as diamonds. So you really get this great look on the wrist. Now, here's how this plays on my 6-inch wrist. A 6-inch wrist, very average size wrist, nothing too big. It wears, I think, a little bit larger than the measured 38 millimeter. You can see on my other wrist, I've got a 39 millimeter on, another watch that Niso actually designed for our company. And you can see they look about the same. So it's a 38 millimeter, maybe has a little bit of a larger look. But it certainly doesn't as far as the thickness of the case, the way it curves around. This is a really easy to wear, comfortable watch. Ladies, that also has 200 meters of water resistance. And it's in a Swiss-made watch. You know, a year ago this time, I knew and we knew that Swiss Legend was going to be transitioning to all Swiss-made. And if you watched us last year, you might remember myself, my other co-host, we would talk about the fact that when Swiss Legend goes to Swiss Made, it's going to be expensive. Prepare yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. We're saying all these things because we know how expensive Swiss Made watches can be. So imagine how amazing it is. And it really is amazing for us to be able to do this. To be able to bring out watches that are Swiss Made, which means not just Swiss Made movements, but at least 60% of the value of the watch is Swiss Made parts. It's packaged in Switzerland. It finishes and completes final inspection in Switzerland. I'm wearing a non-Swiss made watch by one of our company-owned brands. So it's got a Swiss made movement inside, but it could have been assembled in China or in Japan. So there is something to be said about the fact that now every single thing is complete Swiss made, from the movement to the materials and then some. And look at the price. It barely registers. The price has barely gone up from what it was when it was a non-Swiss made brand. So to be able to do this and to have kept the price so low, this is why I'm so excited. Because if this was 2-3 times the price, we'd still be talking about how great it was, but it might be harder for some of you to afford that. But not so because of what we've been able to do and with the 5 payments.
That's a beautiful watch. Absolutely beautiful. And again, you know, gift giving time is coming up. Don't
Yes, so
wait till the last
I love
minute.
this.
On
Gift giving,
the
we were
list
saying
right
gift giving
now.
time. Hello.
Megan.
You're going to get a 5-year warranty, remember, on that Swiss ISO multifunction movement. We have the Safitech crystal on here. Swiss Legend has the only crystal in the watch industry that actually warranties their proprietary crystal. Now, think about all the brands that we show you that have proprietary loom, proprietary crystals, proprietary this, proprietary that. Those brands do not warranty crystals. But Safitech from Swiss Legend is actually warranted. So not only, and he's showing how scratch resistant this is. So not only...
I just don't want people to buy your hot pick. I want them to buy mine. I'm trying to damage this.
So not only is Swiss Legend saying we have a sapphire-like crystal, Swiss Legend is also saying we can prove it to you because if for some reason you were able to scratch this watch, we'll warranty it for the first 10 years. Yeah, our director's like, don't
you dare scratch that on
watch.
national television, international.
It's not going to scratch.
No, that is one of the great things is Safitech. There's a few other watch companies that have come up with their own proprietary crystals because sapphire is so expensive. And we have found in studies that Safitech is as scratch resistant as sapphire. In fact, we're backing that up not just with, we think it's pretty good, but we're also backing it up with 10 years? 10-year warranty on that crystal that's going to look, notice, I'm trying to catch the light just right so that you can see after, even though I'm applying enough pressure, just to move this watch around, there is nothing happening to that crystal. So, life's daily abrasions, whether you're bumping into something, you're catching the car door, sure, the 316L stainless steel may scratch. Remember, that's the benefit of 316L stainless steel. It can polish up. The crystal's going to look great for years to come. Only $174.99. That is your full price. $35 gets it home, and that's your first of 5 stress-free payments. Now, I want to show you just quickly, because we did a full presentation just a minute ago, but I want you to see what I like enough to buy for myself. I can sit back and say, oh, I like this. Are you making fun of me for talking about what I'm buying? Are you eating the watches? I'm not going to tell the world that you're eating while I'm doing watch presentation. You can't say anything, can you?
I need my fuel.
It's a disorder. Folks, I think this watch looks great. Now look, you're seeing right here a watch that's in a 46-millimeter case. It is a thick watch, but that's because of the 42 joule automatic movement that's on the inside. It's the 2HR851 automatic movement. There's 44 hours of power reserve. This beautiful watch has 200 parts on the inside. And as they come in even closer, again, it is that same durable Safitech crystal. I know that even though this is a huge Safitech crystal on here, that it's going to look good for years to come. Now, these are limited edition. Let me stress this to you. In fact, this is kind of hard to imagine. All of this design, all of this work for only 400 total watches. 200 in gold, 200 in silver, and that's it.
Kind of amazing.
Well, that's kind of weird because normally the watches, if you have limited edition from Maurice Lacroix or whoever else, they're stupidly expensive. Here's a watch that should be at a $1,000 price point. Remember a couple of weeks ago when we debuted these and Nisa was here and he went, I won't say storming out, but he's like, they put the price at what? And it wasn't that he was upset, he just couldn't believe that what would have been the lowest conceivable price is where they started.
It's amazing.
Oh, this is heart and soul. You saw his passion with these watches because they're like his kids. He's birthed these watches. 3-hand configuration, you've got hour and minute, you've got a continuously operating sweep hand, you have a GMT hand, which is secondary time, and you have a retrograde power reserve indicator on the watch. All this texturing on the dial. You also have Safitech crystal on the back because it has an exhibition back, allowing you to see the rotor. 2 beating hearts with the dual barrels on that watch. Absolutely fantastic. $349. Let me stress this to you. If you buy the watch, the chances of finding somebody else who has it is infinitely small. 7 billion people, 200 of these watches. We will not make more. There may be other varieties, different styles. I mean, not to flash a watch to you. This is the prototype of another dual barrel, a little bit more dressy. I'll show you this watch, maybe just a glimpse of it. But it's a different watch. You want me to do it? All right, they're gonna change cameras. I'm just gonna flash this watch to you. I did not get permission to do this. You know
flash?
this.
No, you're not allowed to flash people.
That would be a bad thing. I'm just gonna show you real quick. This is not even a finished product. I mean, this is prototype for the world.
Not available.
Not available yet. Soon. We're just going to get a quick look at it. And nobody, promise, we're going to show this to you. Promise nobody record this, okay?
Do me a favor and call in customer service and tell everybody you want that watch.
We want the watch he had. Okay, look, which one do you like better? Now, this is a larger variation. What do you think?
I don't know. They're so you could get both.
And I'm probably going to have to. NISO has created a three-hand configuration here with the hour, the minute, and a continuously operating small seconds. You have a dual barrel that allows you to see 2 beating hearts within that watch, just like you're seeing on this Lucian Piccard. But also you have an additional window into the soul of this watch right here. It's allowing you to see more of what's going on inside it. Can you see that? Absolutely incredible. Am I supposed to show this? I really don't know. Okay, there is, look at the perlage on this watch.
It's gorgeous.
And that's all done by hand. That's not some machine somewhere, you know, slamming these watches out. Of course, that's hand decoration on that rotor, the Cote de Genève, limited edition, Safitech crystal. Yeah, this is going to be quite a while before you see this, but we wanted to give you a glimpse of it because the final product may even be better than this. But this is a prototype. Don't tell anybody. Let's keep it our secret. Somebody will steal the idea. That's beautiful.
All right, well, moving on to things that are brand new, that just hit the website, hit the shows.
Wow.
The Blue Geneve collection, 287841. Now, you'll remember last hour, I actually had NISO try on this exact same watch because the size at 42.5 millimeters feels very unisex. What's crazy is the Blue Geneve collection has many different flavors. As you saw, I was partial towards the silicone strap model. NISO himself was wearing one in a 46.5 millimeter that wore like a 48. Here, this is going to be the 42.5 that wears like a 43. It's going to be a hair bigger. But what's nice about that is with all the different variations, this one included, you could really consider these to be unisex timepieces and maybe find a color that suits you best. Now, this 42.5, let's just say 43 millimeter Blue Geneve, features inside the ISA 2331 quartz movement. That is a very high quality 3-hand quartz ISA movement that we have used for many years with our watches. And what's great about that is the average battery life on these watches is 60 months. You get a full 5 years average battery life. Now remember, because you get a 5-year warranty, we are right on par there. But it's nice to know that with the 2331, it's a great high caliber movement inside that is set to last at least 5 years. Your dial, this one features sort of that soft textured center chapter, almost like a little diamond chapter. I want to let the light hit it and you can see it almost looks like little diamonds on the center portion as the texture. And then the outer edge, you've got this beautiful piece of A-grade mother of pearl where they've actually applied your hour markers. Notice how those are applied to that mother of pearl piece. Now, of course, all of those hour markers, along with the tips of the hands, have super luminova in them. You've got a dodecagon shaped bezel. Now, in case I should say. Now, this is what we were laughing about before. Seems a bit confusing, but what it actually is it's a geometric shaped case all the way around that is actually not just on the case, but also on the bezel. So notice how the bezel edges are beveled off to accommodate the dodecagon shape to the case. But in certain areas, like down here where it's the lugs, you can still see that geometric design. Your bezel insert, solid ceramic. Every bit as scratch resistant as that Safitech crystal on here, and is always going to maintain that beautiful glossy sheen to match the beautiful sheen of the mother of pearl. You've got the integrated bracelet here all the way down. In this case, everything is mirror polished with the exception, notice, the inner edges of the center links. So mostly a mirror polished bracelet. Push button, dual deployant clasp. Please excuse my fingerprints. I just want you to see the screwed down case back. That case back protects the ISA 2331 movement and gives you 200 meters of water resistance. Now check out this case again. This is 200 meters of water resistance. It's a professional dive watch right here, and it's also Swiss made. Now we've got other variations that I have to try on and show you. So I'm going to go to the next version, which for some ladies and gentlemen out there really might be the showstopper. And for me, I love that they did a combination of gray and gold. Because here you've got all rose tone for your case bezel bracelet, but then the bezel insert, which is done in ceramic, and accents inside the dial, they went with a gray color. I'm going to hold them up next to each other so you can see right now the differences. This is the one that I just had on. Very clean, all white look. It's funny, this one seems even a completely different watch. It almost has a bigger presence on the wrist. Here, all 18 karat rose. You can see now how much of the bracelet is mirror polished and the edges that are beveled. But look at this one from afar. Notice how interesting it is to see those grays and even that dark, almost blue for the mother of pearl, contrasted with mirror polished rose. What I love is as a brand, we are able to take risks like this. Now, throughout the years with Swiss Legend and some of our other company-owned brands, I know we can all attest to the fact that sometimes the color combinations can seem a bit out there, a bit kooky. But what's so great is that there's always something for everyone. So as something that might be perfect for me might not be perfect for Wiley and vice versa. So a color combination like this, we have the ability as a company to play around with things like this. You don't traditionally see rose tone and gray, but yet here with Swiss Legend in a Swiss made watch, we've got it. So I love that we're taking those risks. Whether you want to go traditional, the white and silver tone, or something a little bit more out there like this one, that's the beauty of it. Now here's how that 43 millimeter case plays on my 6-inch wrist. You can see I have a slimmer wrist overall, so what's nice is notice how there's no gapping and there's no spacing. This is a kind of watch that even a slimmer wrist can fit into very well. And check out the bracelet length. Gentlemen, you could very easily wear these watches, and it's that great mid-range size. You know, I know you're going to try on another oversized watch in a moment, but this collection, the Blue Geneve, comes as Miso. His preferred size was that full size, wears like a 48. But that might not be for every man. Maybe you prefer the 43 millimeter Wiley.
Let's see how this actually plays on the wrist, because I mean I like the white on white with this particular watch, and oh yeah, that would easily. If you remember, we had an Omega that was in this kind of white configuration, similar size, and we had determined easily either a gentleman or a lady could wear that. And again, there's nothing about this watch that is petite or in such a way that it would designate it to be locked into just one person being able to wear it. I think it looks nice. Doesn't that look good?
So these are Swiss-made watches from Swiss Legend. We're going to give you the 5-year warranty on the ISA 2331 movements. That's the movement for the three-hand. Of course, we do have this available in multifunction and in quartz chronograph. So all of those will be different movement calibers. But we have other items to get to. More Swiss-made coming up, more brand new watches, including something that I saw you had. Where is it now? Is it hiding?
This one?
We've got another one.
Oh,
okay,
this.
So this is the Legacy, and okay, I did not realize when I saw this that this is the same collection as my hot pick. Now, of course, I know mine's the ladies' version, but this is my hot pick for the day, and this is the men's version.
These are from the same collection?
Yes.
Oh, this is an all Swiss-made watch. Now, when you hear us talk about Swiss-made, that simply means that 60% of the value, content, and construction of the watch is Swiss. It also means that it has to have a Swiss movement on the inside. That movement has to be placed inside that case in Switzerland. Then the final inspection has to be in Switzerland. That is the only way legally a watch can carry the Swiss-made name at the 6 o'clock position. Now this watch is a 46 millimeter case. It's a Safitech crystal, 316L stainless steel, and the ISA 8371 movement in it. You have a dual push-button deployant clasp that is going to make it easy to go off and on. Classic configuration, it almost feels very much like a dress watch, but it has a sporty flavor for two reasons. One, it's going to be the chronograph. Two, those pops of red, which really does look good. Now, with saying all that, it also has some sporty aspirations with the fact that it has 200 meters of water resistance. So if you want to wear this to the office and then out to dinner or dinner theater, and then you're going to go on that cruise and you want to hop in the pool and then you want to go diving, you know, outside of the rotating bezel, you would have had a professional dive instrument, but you can still go down 200 meters. That's the quality and construction of the watch. You're going to love that high mirror polish. Look at that. It is, you could probably see a good portion of our studio right there in that high mirror polish. Oh, that looks good. I mean, I'm catching glimpses of monitors in there just because of how bright that is. Now, what's great about this is not a coating. I don't know if you've ever seen things that are almost fake stainless steel, or they try to look like 316L. And eventually, this is the stuff that could peel. Like you're talking with your boyfriend, you're talking about gold flaking and peeling if it's done in an inferior fashion. The same is true with those kind of chrome-esque finishes, not with this. If this gets scuffed up, you're going, that's too polished. What happens in several years? You take it to a jeweler, they can polish it for you, and it'll look like brand new. And the fact that you have a Safitech crystal on here that has a 10-year warranty. Understand? How old will you be? Don't answer this, Megan, because I'm not answering. 5 years. How old will you be, audience, in 5 years? That is how long of a warranty you have on that movement on the inside. How old will you be in 10 years? How much life can you live? How much adventure can you take in 10 years? I mean, you have that long to try to scratch up that crystal. 10 years worth of family vacations, 10 years worth of rock climbing and diving. That's how long before you're going to go, well, I think the warranty's almost up. You're still going to have the same chemical composition in the Safitech crystal, but we're going to follow you for the next decade. $194.99. That's all it takes to get this $399 watch home. You could easily pay for a Swiss-made watch, $700, $800, $900. Look at our price point, under $195. If you come in, as we come back to that live shot, you're going to be able to see that beautiful stippling, that kind of decoration that's in the center part of the dial. And it kind of disappears. The watch almost looks like a polished black and at times flat black, and then you see all the texturing. And look at how the light catches as it's reflected off of the table. You can see the high mirror polish in the hour indices, in the 12, 3, 6, and 9 position, in the hands itself. The watch really looks good. Do we have any loom on this watch? Is there loom on this? These watches are so new, we have not done loom. Now, we'll get those. One of the things that folks asked for in our survey was they want to see, if we have loom, they want to be able to see that. And we'll try to get you more of those. This is so new that it's coming basically, you know, right off of the Swiss plane right here to you. What had to come from a plane? Wouldn't you think? Maybe by boat or plane?
I always wonder that.
Let's ask them. Jenny, find that out.
Submarine.
Contact somebody.
It's a dive watch.
It's
the Swiss Legend sub. You've never been on it?
Did we have a sub?
It's delicious. Honey mustard, cheese.
We're 2 shows a night, ladies and gentlemen. Tip your waitress. That's Megan and Wiley. We're not going to get another good survey.
Yeah, I think people are probably like, okay, go to the watches.
289541 is the number you want to give them for this beautiful, beautiful Swiss Legend. It's all Swiss made and an incredible value. Look how that looks on the wrist. That really does play very well.
I like that it's the black dial and the black bezel. It almost has a greater presence too. It looks even bigger on the wrist.
That is a good point, particularly from this distance. You may think it's a larger watch because the dial and the bezel blend in. When you see it face to face, you realize that it is it's the right size. It plays larger on the wrist. It looks bold, but it fits my wrist very well.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, we have made it. We're just a minute or two over the halfway point of our time together. This is where we like to do a top 10. Now, what's great is we get to see items that you guys are actually shopping for. And what's cool is because we have the entire lineup posted at WorldofWatches.tv, we might not even have gotten to some of these items that you're already shopping for online and are going to be showing up in our top 10. And it's always really exciting because we're being genuine when we say it. We have no idea what items come up, so it's very exciting. As you're seeing them, we're seeing them too. And it's also fun, for example, like when we make our hot picks or when we're talking about items that maybe we own or we're thinking of buying, it's kind of fun for us because we actually get to see, oh, do other people like them too? So you guys better buy mine, otherwise I'm going to feel really bad.
Mine's better. It's limited edition. What?
Wait, we don't want them to know. Okay, so number 10 is
I'm leaving.
the watch that you just had on. Look at that.
Oh, wow, that is a fantastic watch.
See, that means 2 people out there like you.
Oh, but you know, this is an incredible value when you consider that this watch is all Swiss made for under $195. This is going to be a popular seller, and I'm going to guarantee you over the next hour and a half, this is going to do even better because we've done full presentation on it. People have been buying this with just that presentation and the website. And just like Megan said, you do want to check the website because there are far more watches at incredibly low prices than we can possibly show you in 3 hours of television. So this is number 10, and it is an exceptional deal. This Swiss legend, Legacy?
Legacy.
Legacy. That's nice.
Well, it can be whatever you want.
I'm just making it up. It's the Lego watch. Please make sure you get this.
All right. Coming at number 9, Maurice Lacroix. You know, I think the Miros, I was talking about it with somebody the other day. I think the Miros is one of those watches that for those of you out there, gentlemen, please consult our website, the Maurice Lacroix Miros collection. We have ladies. The ladies' Miros watches I love. But for you gentlemen out there, if you are looking to get into a Swiss-made watch, maybe you want one from a high-end Swiss-made brand, but you can't shell out $1,600. The Miros is at $450. Think about that. We've taken over $1,000 off the price. We're letting you pay it off over 5 months at just $90 interest-free. And look at this sporty yet luxury style. Black IP and silver tone. Hand-built watches, Swiss-made watches, sapphire crystal, 286500. That's the Miros at number 9.
Coming up right behind that, ooh, the Blue Geneve chronograph. This is a beautiful, beautiful watch. Now, this watch, if you have to go online to look at it, to see, because you may not have seen the presentation yet, but you will be able to see more on there. Now remember, even some of the new styles, we're already doing product videos, so you may be able to catch that. Not guaranteed with this one, but there are product videos that you need to see. So if we don't always get to do a full presentation, go ahead and check the website, because you will find some additional photography. You will find incredible details that we don't always get to present. And of course, you know, Megan and I will come by your house and show you the watch.
That's right. What do they always say when you want something? Write a letter. Write a letter to your congressman and tell them that you want WOW TV on every single day.
This is beautiful. Under $200 for this watch. Now, you really like this, do you
I
not?
do really like this watch. The next one, though, number 7, this is the watch that I had on earlier. There is something about this color combination. The outer edge where the mother of pearl is done almost in like a steel, a blue steel, if you will. Then the center portion of the dial is done in that steel gray. And then you've got rose tone. So you've got this really unique color combination where you wouldn't think that the gray blue would look so well with rose, but it does. It's exquisite. All of that done is rose tone on that 42.5mm case. It's a dodecagon case. Remember, so it does have more of that geometric design. 5-year warranty on the Swiss-made ISA 2331 movement. 5 payments. Every single item is on 5 payments. 287872. That's number 7.
Number 6 is the Swiss legend Legacy multifunction. And Meg and I have both decided that unless you are timing the Olympics, you don't necessarily need the chronograph that's going to, you know, give you down to a hundredth or even a thousandth of a second, even though we love those. That if you're going to go for the practical side, having a multifunction that gives you a day, a date, or other multifunctions within there, that is something that you certainly would want to consider. And this has all that with a mother of pearl dial, 316L stainless steel. And of course, you have it in Swiss made for under $185. Only $37 gets this brand new design home to you. 289544. It's a winner, and you're certainly making it fly out the door.
Well, it looks like this is the countdown for Swiss Legend. Coming in at number 5, another Blue Geneve, 287839. Once again, we are at that 42.5mm size here. Black textured dial. This dial, this is what Niso was talking about when he said every single watch is slightly different. This one, there's no mother of pearl. But you do have the two-tone of rose tone and silver tone. $180 is the price. Swiss-made watch, genuine Swiss Super Luminova, 10-year warranty on the Safitech crystal, and 200 meters of water resistance. Cannot stress that enough. These are all professional dive-capable watches. 287-839, that's number 5.
Number 4. Oh, we didn't get to, did you?
This is the one, I actually was trying this on when Miso was on the show with me. 38 millimeter Blue Geneve here. 200 meters of water resistance. This one is going back to the one that's on the bracelet that I said I love so much, the gray blue mixed with the rose tone. That's exactly what this is at number 4, except you've also got the putty gray silicone strap. These silicone straps are a step above the rest because you actually have push-button dual deployant clasps. 5 payments of $34. Isn't it amazing we're already at number 4 and every single one has been one of the Swiss-made watches? Number 3, we haven't even aired this yet.
Niso said that these watches, how many times can we say his name?
I know, I was just thinking that. That's funny.
I know, we should work together. These watches are selling at a silly rate every day. I mean, there's not every watch. You have to realize there are thousands of watches at Swiss Watch International. You've been through the vault where they're, little incubators. We wait for them to get big enough to sell them. But this particular...
It's like in the Matrix when they're in those eggs.
Thank you for sharing. But this watch, there are just numerous ones of these going out every single day. It's just, once it's hit the world, they just continually go out. So we want you, before the holidays hit, if they should, heaven forbid, run out of anything, this is a great one to add to the collection. It is way, way more valuable than its price point. Even the wow price of $200, it really needs to be a little higher than that. When you feel the watch, the quality construction is exceptional, and $124.99 is just ridiculous. $25 gets home, beautiful watch all the way around, and a style like none other. It has kind of almost an Art Deco feel to it, but very much a very modern watch. 288892 will get you the Lucian Piccard Polaris.
Coming in number 2, yet another Blue Geneve. This one again in the 42.5 millimeter case. You've got the multifunction here. So what that means is your 3 o'clock subdial is your calendar date. 9 o'clock is your day of the week. And the 6 o'clock subdial, using that lower pusher at the 4 o'clock position, that subdial is actually a secondary time zone. Here, all of that with this gorgeous royal blue dial, with this stunning royal blue ceramic bezel insert, and then it's on a 2-tone stainless steel watch. You've got 18 karat rose for your crown and pushers, and the center link of the bracelet, and then the rest is done in silver tone. You get the Safitech crystal with a 10-year warranty. You get a 5-year warranty on that Swiss-made ISA movement. All of this with 200 meters of water resistance at $40 down. These are Swiss-made watches. When Wiley and I wax poetic every single show about the Swiss made this and the Swiss made this, and we're always talking about how the prices are hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. As you heard here first, you are getting the exact, literally the exact same thing. Almost down to, they're in the same factories, they're using the same movement caliber, they're using the same plating processes. You are getting the exact same thing now from Swiss Legend that we've been talking about for years from Luminox and Tag Heuer and Breitling. I mean, you are now getting Swiss made for so much less, price-wise. 287-829, that's number 2.
And?
Well, look at that.
Oh.
Number 1. You know what? I almost feel like I was cheating a little bit.
Why?
Because this watch is, I love the Blue Geneve. I really like it on the silicone strap because I think it's so comfortable. But when I was looking at the watches before the show and I was deciding which ones to go for, I was going to go with the Blue Geneve, and then I saw the Legacy Diamond. Now, much like the Blue Geneve collection, the Legacy has men's variations and ladies' variations. But the only variation that features diamonds is the one on the silicone strap. Now, isn't it interesting to think about the fact that they didn't put the diamonds on the Legacy that comes on bracelet? They wanted this watch, this variation, to be a true sport luxury design. Now you can see I have it paired with a sweater. It works perfectly. But the material, the soft touch silicone, and the fact that there are 200 meters of water resistance means that when I go on vacation, this is the watch I'm taking. When I go to the gym or the beach, this is the watch I'm wearing because it makes the most sense. So for me, or for you ladies out there, thinking about that one watch, that one singular watch that if you wear it, I hate to say you don't need much else, but what else do you need? The soft touch silicone that now, oh, look how mirror polished that is. That now comes with the push button, dual deployant clasp. I'll show you that in a moment when I take it off. But here, that gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous mother of pearl dial. Have you noticed with these new watches, the Blue Geneve and the Legacy, they started painting the mother of pearl grays and blues? Most of the time it's either white or black. But here with that gray, it allows you to pick up more color. Look at the purples and the greens and those steel blues being picked up. You've got the diamonds set in the bezel, of course. You can see the little diamond accents inside the bezel. You've got 10 points total. Your multi-function, when you pull the crown, you'll operate changing the day of the week. Your top 2 o'clock pusher operates your date, which is the 3 o'clock sub-dial right there. And then here's what I was talking about earlier. I'm just going to tilt it so you can see. When I use this 4 o'clock sub-dial, the 4 o'clock pusher, I mean, the 6 o'clock sub-dial hand moves. So that's a 24-hour chapter ring. So with the time here, let's say it's 10:15, I could put that little hand at the 22. That would be the military time of the currently displayed hours, because 2200 hours would be 10 p.m. Or I could offset that for a completely different time zone, and now boom, in this case, I've got it set for 4:15 in the morning. So the cool thing is you can play around with that secondary sub-dial, or if you travel, maybe you don't want to have to go through the whole thing about changing your main dial. You can just very easily do that 6 o'clock. It's a 38 millimeter. Look at how slim it is. Look at how well it wears around the wrist. I don't have too teeny of a wrist, and I don't have too big of a wrist. I have a mid-range 6-inch wrist on the slimmer side. You can see it can be worn much, much smaller, and that's the cool thing about the closure. Much like Wiley and I talk about when we talk about custom closures that are on leather or whatnot, what you do here is once you set this one time, right, and all you have to do is just pull that little piece on the back, you slide it, you measure it in. Once you set this one time, then you'll never ever need to undo your watch again. All you'll ever do is use the push button for easy on and off. So it's a very, very convenient thing. And it's funny because this is traditionally a feature we would have seen on a leather strap. Never, never on a silicone. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen, your new #1 seller, my hot pick of the show, the all-new Legacy Diamond, the only variation that comes with diamonds. 289550.
Do you know what I like about this? The bezel is smooth. Even though it has those diamonds set in there, it's not
going to get cut. Don't
it's
put it
not
on my sweater.
I'm going to rub it on your sweater because it's not snagging.
I know.
That's kind of nice.
Yeah, rub it on your shirt.
No, I was checking the sag factor. I'm not going to risk my shirt.
So going back to these Blue Geneves, now we're at the full size. Now we're at the size. This is the size that Niso had on, that he was preferential to. These are the ones, yes, Niso wore this watch. How does it feel? These are the ones
Too heavy for me.
that are going to wear like 48 millimeters on the wrist.
Now, you have to tell me which one you like better. Now, the price and the style number you're seeing is for the one in my hand, but we're going to show you both configurations of this. I mean, what's the general consensus here? Which one do you like better?
This one for me.
And you like the pop of blue. Oh, and we also have it in black dial. That's right. So that's a good choice. The first thing you notice about the watch, other than the style, which is reminiscent of everything from Quorum and some other fantastic watch designs, and Niso said, you know, there's that name again, that he never ever looks to take anybody else's style. But he said you find inspiration everywhere. And he wants to make sure that the things that people have loved most, that they're going to be able to wear it.
I think that's true, though, not just for watches, but for
Everything.
shoes,
Automobiles,
for clothes, cars, yeah,
houses.
everything.
I mean, you name it. I think this watch, the moment you pick it up, you realize there is a weight to it that they have spared no expense in making the case and the bracelet. That's one of the first things that I noticed about it. Now, when you have a Swiss movement on the inside and you have a Swiss-made watch, okay, well, that's great. Usually the focus has been on the movement. The fact that they've put so much emphasis on the design of the case, I want you to take a peek to see, let's get all of these guys in here and you tell me what you think. Oh, that's nice. And notice they're slightly different in style. Which one do you like better? I think for me, I'm liking the blue a lot because it's such an unusual shade of blue. We're going to come to a close-up on that in a minute when we shift numbers. We don't want to confuse anybody. The number you're seeing is for the one on my hand right now. Absolutely beautiful with that 3-hand configuration, the hour, the minute. You have a continuously operating sweep hand as a small seconds at the 3 o'clock position. You have a locked into place sweep hand at the 12 o'clock. Simply hitting that pusher is going to start it. There is the stop, and there is the reset. Notice there is this great machining all the way around the pushers. There's a piston-style pusher, but there's also some knurling around there. There's an oversized crown, which is going to make it easy to set the time. You have 2 additional sub-dials for the chronograph. You have a date complication between the 4 and 5 o'clock position. The case of the watch, I mean, this is a big watch. Now, for measuring from, we're going to go from side to side there, and that's about 48. That's a big watch. But I think it's not going to be too large for my wrist. You're also going to notice you have a really large bracelet on here, probably just a little thicker than you would think. Notice that's a custom end link on there. Because of the shape of this, you can't just cut across. You can't just use a round end lug. You have to have something custom made. And notice the fit on that. Notice there's no give. I don't know if, okay, at this price point, I have a few watches, I'll not name names, that it has a custom end link, but it's wiggly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, well, it's a good fit, but it's not a great fit. This is a custom fit all the way around. Notice there is no moving, there is no gapping there. Sometimes these end links, it's hard to fit them, and they'll have a bit of wiggle to them. Not so here at all. When you see the high mirror polish all the way around, of course you have a dual push button, dual deployant. It's going to make that easy to go off and on the wrist. Which one would you like for me to slip on? We'll put on the blue one. All right, we're going to change graphics out. The number you're seeing right now is for the silver tone dial. Let's take a look at the blue, and you can see this in a slightly different configuration. That's a bright blue.
I like this. Now keep in mind that all of these watches all feature 200 meters of water resistance and ceramic bezel inserts. There's a lot of luxury going on inside these watches.
I have a technical question. When this is broadcast on like YouTube and on our website, is that in high definition? I wonder if we can do that. I think, you can always go to our website. If you want to see like really great definition of some of the photographs, you can go to our website because those are immaculately photographed. That looks great.
That looks beautiful. I always love seeing this royal blue color with rose tone.
Which one would you like better now? Comparing the black, the white, and this beautiful, almost not royal blue, this bright blue. Which one would you say?
You know, it's interesting. Obviously, taking on a more like fashion perception towards it, I go for this one. What I think is going to appeal to the masses out there, more men, is going to be the black and silver tone one.
Do you know which one I think is the power watch, the business watch?
Which
the one that just really has weight that looks the most expensive to
black?
me? The white.
Really?
Ah, that was
that was genuine.
I know it was.
That was genuine.
I really had to play that out because it is.
Why do you think that?
This
is definitely the more high fashion one, the super sporty one. I don't know. That's interesting. I like that you say that though, and I think that you should, speaking as a man to other gentlemen out there, encourage. I think a lot of men are more sometimes hesitant to wear white watches and white accessories, but I think when done right, it can look quite sharp.
I think it is the two classic colors of both black and white on the dial that we see even from the highest end manufacturers. Those are the most popular. And I think in this case, this is, in a business world, in a very competitive world, you would not be shouting and yelling. This has a very strong presence. I mean, it is that fashion forward as much as it is a timepiece. The white just has a, here in Miami, you always see the supercars going by. And when you see a white Lamborghini...
And me in the passenger seat like,
yes.
woo!
And whether it is a white Lamborghini or a Rolls Royce, there is just something about that classic cleanness of it. And there is something about that that just stands out. I'm not saying it's better. I'm saying if I was wearing it to the office every day, that's going to go with everything. The black can be a little formal or a little stiff just for some people. I think the white just does it for me.
Isn't that amazing how we can all have such different ideas and opinions about the watches and how they can all look slightly
They
different.
feel different.
Even though they're from a completely the same collection, they all almost could be completely different collections. So that's kind of cool. The black dial one with the red, it does have a very sporty pop. I think we actually can show that. Did we air the black dial one yet?
Yeah, this was, yeah.
Oh, right,
that's
before the top 10. Wow, see, I didn't even put together that was the same watch. It seems different than the others.
There's a few differences there. I think that you would not go wrong. However, this blue is probably one of the prettiest blues I have seen in both dial and bezel, and I'm not even sure what to call it because it is such a brightness. It's not quite neon. That would be offensive.
No, it's not.
This is
no, it's not neon.
no, it's Niso. It's Niso blue.
Okay, we're gonna move on now.
I said his name twice.
Come on, director, let's go. Shut him up. Put something else on the screen. Oh, here's another beautiful blue color.
Niso loves this one.
263479, the Accutron II from Bulova. When you see the word Accutron attached to the word Bulova, that's how you know you're getting high end.
Well, that is correct. Bulova building watches since 1875, and what you're seeing here is one of the more technological aspects of the watch. You're seeing, this is the snorkel, which automatically tells you where its aspirations are. And as you look at the watch, you'll notice that there are two crowns on the watch, and they're both offset. One of them is going to operate the movement inside. The other is going to be for that chapter ring, and all you're going to have to do is rotate. Now, there's going to be the one for your movement, and here's the one for the chapter ring. And simply rotating that is going to allow you to set the depth or the time that you'd like to go. In other words, I'm going to only go down so many feet, and I'd like to be gone how many minutes? Absolutely incredible to have that, because being that this is protected, almost recessed, so that this one is much more easily accessible. This is harder to get to, which means, in this modified to no-shaped case, that it's easier to tuck this under here, and it's less likely you're going to move it, which can affect your safety. Now, the case of the watch is going to be 43 millimeters across and 48 millimeters high. Sometimes with a to-no shape, we don't try to measure from across diagonally because it's not an accurate measurement. So we'll give you the full measurement of top, bottom, left, and right. 43 by 48 millimeters. Easy to adjust this, but not easy to accidentally mess it up. You're going to appreciate the fact that you're getting all of this, and the watch looks good. What was the term you said the other day? Desk diver.
It is a desk diver.
The snorkel makes a great watch to wear to the office, but also immediately put on your flip-flops and head down to the beach when you leave there. You're going to appreciate the satin finish on the left and right side of that bracelet, but high mirror polish in the middle. And there is something very elegant about the watch. And of course, if you're dealing with Bulova and Accutron II, you know you're getting all the technological stuff that has made them famous. Accutron was also the technological arm of Bulova. So with since 1875 building watches, surely they have it right by now.
That's a nice high quality bracelet. There's something about Bulova watches. We see it even in their super sporty styles like the Champlain, which is a big dramatic watch. There's something about the styles of their bracelets that are always so elegant. They really have jewelry quality bracelets.
I love the fact that they've used the Accutron logo, its moniker, right there at the 12 o'clock, as well as on the end of the sweep band. And of course, if you have a rotating inner bezel, which is protected, and you have 200 meters of water resistance, this is the perfect dive watch. It's going to be protected. It's going to be protecting you as well. Now, do you think that's a good fit? I think so.
I was interested. Can you show them a side profile? Because sitting over here, I couldn't believe how nice and slim the watch looked, because it is more of a unique shape, but it really does hug the wrist really well. I thought there was going to be some gapping, but there's not at all.
Well, with 48 millimeters from top to bottom, you would think, okay, it might overhang some wrists that are smaller. It might not be a comfortable fit. If you have the largest or the smallest wrist, this is going to be a comfortable fit and a great look. Now the watch may look a little smaller because you'll notice that inner chapter ring that's going to be your inner rotating bezel takes up some real estate that would be dial. This time it's chapter ring or inner bezel. You also can see that the watch, I think it has a great fit and presence. $329. The WOW price is going to go back up to $412 shortly, but you're going to be able to get it for $329. Don't pay $550 in retail stores. Only spend $66 with us. That's your first of 5 stress-free, interest-free payments. You'll be delighted to get it home. Now, if you want to have sporty aspirations and you want a watch that really is going to take you places, then you have to look at this great dive watch from Bulova. Again, since 1875 building watches, here is the Precisionist. Now, we love the Accutron. It's a fantastic movement. We're going to go to a level of accuracy that you're only going to find in the Precisionist movement. Precisionist, just earlier this year, was released, and I believe it was around February when we saw it for the first time, February or March. And Bulova wanted to release, well, basically their answer to the quartz movement. Quartz movements are going to be accurate to within 10 to 15 seconds per month. That is incredible considering that an automatic or a mechanical watch is only going to be accurate to within 10 to 15 seconds per day. So theoretically, every 4 to 6 days, your automatic or your mechanical could be off by as much as a minute. Now, it's going to take several months before your quartz movement might be off by a minute, but you know, who would hate to, you don't want to have to keep resetting stuff, particularly if you're in something where you want to make sure that you have completely accurate time. This is accurate to within 10 seconds per year. Now, this 49mm case really looks great, but unlike some of the Champlains and other in the family, it's not as thick or as bulky. Right now, you're seeing a 3-hand configuration, the hour-minute, continuously operating sweep hand, and it doesn't take much for me to lock that into position and to move this to its chronograph function.
So the continuous running seconds becomes the chrono hand.
Now it's going to catch up to where it needs to get to, and I'll show you in just a second. This is running as in the chronograph mode because it was handed. You saw it sweeping. Now, if we reset that, it's going to go to where it needs to, and we can do it as the chronograph. And that chronograph, as you can see there, are we at the closest configuration on that? I think we are. You know, as you're looking into that, you realize you can not only keep track of your seconds, but your tenths of a second, your hundredths of a second, your 1/1000th of a second. You have a minute totaler and an hour totaler on this watch. That is pretty incredible. No other watch is offering that level of accuracy on the watch. And of course, you're going to have a unirotating bezel, which is going to also aid if you're going to be diving with the watch because it has 200 meters of water resistance. That is fairly phenomenal. Now, of all of the watches in the Precisionist line, do you have one that you like better? Either the larger version, the smaller version, or the ultra high frequency, slimmer version? You
know, we make one in an all rose tone. That's very dramatic.
We do.
I do like that one a lot. I like the ones that are on the rubber straps. I think for even gentlemen out there, I think that even though these watches, they are very big, so for me, the idea of having something on a rubber strap would be a bit more comfortable than having something on a bracelet. Because this is still, I'm sure you can attest to this is still a heavier watch on the wrist, even though it's got a strap on it. When it has the bracelet, it's over 200 grams.
Very heavy. Now, you'll notice that by simply hitting the pusher right here, I've sent that sweep hand to lock into the 12 o'clock position. Hitting the pusher at the 2 o'clock is going to start not only our sweep hand, but 2 additional hands right here at the 12 o'clock position. One moving fast, one moving so fast you almost can't see it. Now, to get the 1/1000th, it stays stationary until we hit the stop, and then it will lock where it needs to tell you down to 1/1000th of a second.
Look at that, you got it right on the...
It moved just a touch, just one spot, just one
one
spot. And of course, I can, make that go again and down to 1/1000th of a second. If I want to reset that, hitting the pusher at the 4 o'clock will reset it. And you'll notice, before you leave me, I got to get this guy back up here to 12, and if you want to send him back into a continuously operating sweep hand, just hit that right there. And this watch is accurate to within 10 seconds per year. And I think this is a great size too. Incredibly comfortable to wear, and what a great value. $699, we don't suggest that you pay that, not at all. The wow price of $524 is an incredible savings over the retail, but look at this, for the show, $224.99. Only $45 gets a Bulova Precisionist home. Congratulations.
Sorry for interrupting
No,
you.
you're good.
All right, we have made it to the end of our second hour. We're moving into our third and final hour of today's show. Still plenty of items to get through. Every single one is going to have 5 stress-free payments. Remember, that is our interest-free payment plan for you. So if you don't want to put the full amount down, you don't have to. I'm pretty sure, with the exception of about 5 watches, every single watch we've seen for the past 2 hours has been a professional diver.
It's remarkable
interesting?
that they have put that level of precision into the cases, because you don't necessarily have to do that with some of the dress watches, but they've done it because some of the watches, even with the leather strap, you're not going to necessarily get that one wet, but if you did get pushed in the pool, get caught in the rain, you've got the case to hold up. Or if you wanted to get, because we sell them, the silicone or rubber straps, and you can turn that dress watch into a dive watch with just a clip of a few pins.
All right, we're going to jump into a preview now and show you what's coming up in our third and final hour, and maybe this hour we'll get a chance to revisit some of the best sellers from the past 2 hours. All right, first one up in the preview is the Voyager from Ben & Sons. We have been showing these every single hour now so far in different variations. If you ever miss the show, know that you can catch replays online at WorldofWatches.tv, but also that the entire lineup for the day is posted there. That way, you're able to go ahead and still get the TV price and payments. Remember, all of that expires Sunday, Eastern Standard Time at midnight. So that gives you a little bit of time to do your shopping, but as we see most days, things do sell out very quickly. So we've had a few variations of the Voyager already on the show. We'll get to another one, like this one, black and brown, in this military-inspired design with the VD53 quartz chronograph movement. $100, even better though, are those payments. $20 gets it home, 287-664.
Right behind that, the Eterna Vaughan Big Date. Now, this has a beautiful, genuine alligator strap on the watch. When Eterna wanted to build a watch that was easy to read at a glance, of course, they had to put their own flair and style to it, and you can't blame them. Just look at the results. Eterna has been building watches since 1856, and here's an all-Swiss-made watch, sapphire crystal, both front and back. Beautiful exhibition back on this watch. 3-hand configuration, hour-minute, continuously operating sweep hand, and all of the hands are curved to match the curvature of that case. Large dual date wheel, large date complication at the 3 o'clock, easy to read, and when you see the back of this watch, when we show it to you live in just a moment, you're going to love what's on the other side. 101465, the Vaughan Big Date. Also, the Lucian Piccard Valarta Multifunction is an absolutely gorgeous new addition to the Lucian Piccard world, and I assure you it's going to be a big seller. Now, you have 3 traditional subdials with a 4th retrograde subdial. This has such a vintage feel. It looked like it came out of the late 1800s, early 1900s. It is such a detailed watch. The fact that you're getting this beautiful rose tone case, that leather strap, those 4 subdials, those beautiful Breguet-style hands on this watch, all of this in such a classic configuration under $100. Only $20 gets it home. That's your first of 5 stress-free, interest-free payments for this beautiful multifunction.
Quickly want to remind you of my hot pick, the current #1 seller, in case anybody's keeping track out there. 289550, the all-new 38mm Legacy from Swiss Legend, a Swiss-made 200-meter diver, the only Swiss-made Swiss Legend currently available for ladies with 200 meters of water resistance and with diamonds. I can tell you right now, ladies, we have multiple versions of this watch. The silicone strap version shown here is my favorite. It's also the only one that features the diamonds. The mother of pearl is exquisite. You have a Swiss-made ISA multifunction movement. That 6 o'clock subdial is actually a secondary time zone. There is not a single thing on this watch you are not getting. It has everything from the water resistance to the design to the luxury materials. It has it all. And all you have to do is put down $35 to get it shipped to you. This is a Swiss-made watch. 289-550.
My pick has been a watch that the moment they showed me this watch, I had to have it. And realizing that there are only 200 of the silver tone and 200 of the gold tone of this watch, that's it. These are so limited edition with that beautiful dual open heart, dual barrel configuration on this dial. The fact that you're getting all of this elegance, all of this limited edition exclusivity, the fact that you have a 3-hand configuration with a continuously operating sweep hand and a secondary time zone, GMT, and a power indicator with a retrograde subdial at the 6 o'clock with those 2 beautiful beating guards for under $350. This is mind-boggling that they've done this. If you buy the watch, remember, I've got one of them, so there's only 199 others. So you are very rarely going to run into anybody who has this watch on this planet. Remember, 7 billion people, only 200 watches. $70 gets it home to make it easy. There's no interest. There is no stress with that payment. $349.99. And I'm going to make sure with my hot pick they get free shipping.
That's kind of you.
Yeah, it is. 283-089, the Lucian Piccard Matador Automatic. I promise you will be a stunning watch on your hand.
287-664, the Ben & Sons Voyager. As I mentioned during the preview, we aired quite a few of these so far on the show today. If you missed any, it all is posted at WorldofWatches.tv. We've got 2 variations. You pick which one you like better.
I like this one. I like this. Now, we're kind of choosing between the 2, which one we want to kind of show off a little bit. You really like Ben & Sons. What has it been about this brand? I mean, you are such a girly girl. I mean, you have
there's
your
something...
manicures
I
and
am
pedicures
manicured.
and expensive gym memberships.
I am very fancy.
So why Ben & Sons, which is so military?
You know, I've always been partial to, when we air on the show, high-end Swiss-made brands that do that vintage military design. Bell & Ross is a good example of
beautiful.
it. Wenger was another good example of it. I always like those luxury brands that do, even U-Boat is a good example. I know it's not Swiss-made, but they do those kind of military designed watches, the vintage ones. The Atacama Field from Luminox.
Yes.
I like those styles. I like something that seems, how we talk about, the adventure watch. So for me, seeing something like this in the black and brown, it's got that dark brown leather with all that black ionic plating for your case, even your buckle, your bezel, your dial. I like the contrast of the black and brown, but I like something that looks sporty, but doesn't look so, oh my gosh, you can only wear this with a pair of cargo shorts and flip-flops. This is the kind of thing that you could dress up a little bit, maybe for a nice dinner out. And I tend to think that whether it's a men's watch or a ladies' watch, that when you have something that is vintage designed, it looks more old. It looks like something that maybe you got from your father, that maybe your father got from his father. So I like the idea of, even if you don't have those pieces in your family, in your legacy, being able to wear them, I think, is still kind of special too. And that's what I like about the Ben & Sons line. Now this one here features inside the chronograph. We do have a 3-hand. Wiley will show you in a moment. This is the BD53 with date. That's a Japanese chronograph quartz movement. You can see when I start the chronograph, the 6 o'clock subdial is the one that begins to move around the dial there. Matte black dial. Notice how interesting it is that they went with this sort of almost a manila or a buttery yellow color for the hour markers, for your hands, for all of the accents inside your dial. It's interesting that they did that contrast against the black dial. When you measure the bezel, right, that's what you're supposed to measure edge to edge, it's 44 millimeters. But when you factor in the thickness of the case and lugs, it's going to be a bit larger than that. But I have a 6-inch wrist. It's a pretty petite wrist, and you can see the way that because the strap is right up out of the case, there's no space. It's like as if the case and the strap are one piece. It allows even a bigger watch to fit a slimmer wrist. So gentlemen and ladies, whether you've got a 6-inch wrist like I do or a 9-inch wrist, I think it's kind of nice that this is a one size fits most. 287-664 is the item number for this color, but you really like this one. Again, going back to what we've been talking about all day, how watches from the exact same family,
two completely different looks. Now, notice the difference. You have a very smooth strap with that watch. I have the Croco embossed
So it's
leather.
almost, and that's what we were talking about. I didn't even think they did that. So this is almost like a luxury look.
Well, they have just really taken that same design and they've put it into just a slightly different configuration. I'm not sure what it is about this muted or this satin finish gold tone that just drew my eye in. It really feels like a vintage piece.
It looks like titanium.
There is a look, titanium can have that brush look. I think there was a watch that my dad had many years ago that the case was like this. And you know that it's not solid gold, but you know it is another one of the metals that just has a feel like it came from another era. And there is something very dressy about this watch. There's something very sophisticated about it, yet not so much so that you feel like it's overdoing it.
No, you don't have to wear this to the office with a suit.
No, this is, again, the three-hand configuration as opposed to the chronograph is very clean. There is something about it that really just pulls your eye in. It's uncomplicated. There are no distractions. I'm going to slip this on my wrist, and you can, okay, that looks great. With what I'm wearing, if I had to have a magazine shoot for watch of the day, this is the watch.
You're going to a photo shoot after this?
With watch of the day, don't you have Watch magazine? Or why? There's no magazine. I think I was in like Pet Monthly once. Me and the poodle. The Voyager really does look, I think, very elegant in this configuration, but it's not stuffy. And I think it's how they have used the hour indices and the minute markers on this watch to not make the watch feel just a little bit too like, oh, it's a dress watch. Because if you're wearing a dress shirt like I am now, or very dressy, such as a suit and tie, I had a black tie function just a few days ago, I would wear this watch. There is something very elegant and understated. When something is of luxury, it does not have to scream in your face.
Absolutely.
Anybody that's famous that has to tell you, I'm famous, they're not famous. It's probably some of the nicest people that you've ever met in any sort of entertainment industry or in politics are the ones that they know who they are. This watch knows who it is. It just has an elegance to it where easily, if it was a $200 or $300 watch, you would go, okay, worth it, when you feel it. Here's what I love too. Look at the high curvature of this crystal. What would be the first thing I would be afraid of with the curve?
Scratching your crystal.
It's got to be plastic. It's got to be mineral. Safitech.
Yep.
You've got all of the scratch resistance of Safitech in this. So even though it is a very, very raised design with that convex crystal, it's going to look great for years to come. $69. I don't know how they do this. How do you put all of this in here? That reliable Japanese movement, the Safitech crystal, this beautiful muted gold tone case, the Croco embossed leather strap for under $70, and we're paying for shipping? Unbelievable. Remember, the holidays are coming up. Don't stress. Just go ahead and buy a watch. I promise you, they're going to love it.
It's nice to get a watch. It's interesting when you get something like a watch or you give a gift of a watch, you're really giving something that, okay, those of you watching the show, you're probably like Wiley and I. You probably have a lot of watches. You most likely wear one every single day. But I can speak especially for like my generation, but I think younger people, especially women too, watch wearing is kind of a lost art, right? Everybody's like, well, I don't need a watch. I have my cell phone.
Oh, you're right.
Right. I think sometimes you get into that. When I was out of town a week and a half ago, most of the gentlemen I was with were wearing watches, but only a few of us ladies were. I don't think it's as often or as common for. So maybe a lady has a nice Michael Kors or she has a diamond watch or a Cartier.
Sure.
But it's nice when you actually give somebody a watch. I always give, obviously, gifts of watches now to my loved ones. And it's nice because especially people who don't usually wear watches, they think, oh my gosh, how nice. And then every time that person wears the watch, they'll think of you. And so it's kind of a special thing to be able to give somebody the gift of time, as silly as it sounds. And what's great on our website is we also sell gift certificates. You can actually get someone a gift card.
We sell gift certificates?
Yeah, you can buy a gift card. Well, gift card. So you can get somebody a gift card. Yeah, you can give somebody a gift card. So maybe if you're not sure what they'd like or you think they might want watch accessories or straps or something, you could go to WorldofWatches.com and you could get them a gift card that then they could tune into the show or on the website every day and they could buy something too.
Do you think we'll get gift cards from all the higher ups?
No, I think no.
I didn't know.
I think it'll just be happy holidays. We're keeping our jobs. Keep
You can come back after the holidays. Poof.
Pour me a sniff of brandy, will you?
Right away.
All right, we have to move on before we get in trouble.
We're in trouble.
Something that a corporate executive would wear, but you can now afford. You like the transition?
Yes, you did good.
You don't have to be the boss. You could still be working in the mailroom. And here we go.
They never saw me reach for that, right?
Because this is a $7,500 watch. So most people think, I mean, I would think, well, I don't have $8 grand.
Why in the world would this be $7,500? Somebody asked you that. Megan, I saw the guy on the show holding the watch. Why is that $7,500? I think the answer comes from, this is, the pinnacle in Swift's craftsmanship. When you consider that Eterna has been building watches since 1856. And here is the pinnacle of that hand-built watch craftsmanship. Now, when they needed to build, when we wanted to build a watch that was easy to read, classic, it would go to any era. If you went 100 years in the past or 100 years in the future, it has equal beauty. I mean, think about it. How many times do people buy cars and it's like, wow, this is stunning. And then within a couple of years, I can't wait to get rid of it. And it may not be because of reliability. It may be, I'm just tired of it. And it's amazing how other cars turn your head. Here's a watch that when you get it, from the alligator strap to the simplicity and easy to read design, it's going to make you happy because you know you've made the right choice. There is just something about it that pulls the eye in. I mean, just at a glance of the wrist, just a quick flash, and you know the time. Three-hand configuration, the hour, the minute, that continuously operating sweep hand. It is not an optical illusion. As we turn ever so slightly, you're going to notice that the dial of the watch is in high curvature, but so are the hands. It also has an oversized dual date wheel, large date complication at the 3 o'clock. Everything without being loud or offensive, easy to read. What were we saying earlier? How many watches have these overly complicated dials? They're trying to impress you with how much they can put on the watch. Here you should be impressed with the simplicity. All Swiss-made sapphire crystal, both front and back. And there is that beautiful automatic movement. Your eye is pulled in first to that rotor. You're going to see the Côte de Genève, the watchmaker's wave, that Geneva wave. Your eye is pulled back to the second layer that has the beautiful perlage decoration. And if I rotate right there, you're going to look into the beating heart of the watch. I think this is a stunning timepiece because anything you wear, it's going to be great.
Have you noticed how the shape of the actual case, if you hold the side profile, the shape of the case almost follows the shape inside the dial? It's almost like the entire thing is curved, even from the case back.
It really is. It's almost as if the watch has its own horizon, and it follows. I mean, just as you hold it, you can even see it has a natural curvature in the bracelet, and it just seems to sweep all the way through. There is a great, just a little bit of the Eterna logo right there on the crown as well. I'm going to slip the watch on, and you want me to put the brown one or the black one on? Because we have two configurations. Now, I'm going to set this one down. I want you to see that there's two configurations of this watch. And I want you to take a peek right there at the darker of the two with that beautiful black strap. Would you like better, black or brown?
I was just thinking that. I think the black is perhaps more versatile. I think more gentlemen will be able to wear this with black dress pants, black shoes. But they're both really nice. It just depends on, like my girlfriend, her husband, he wears more browns. My boyfriend is partial to more blacks. So this, I think, would work better for him because he wears more black clothes and accessories. But what's nice about this is the only thing that we changed out in these two watches is the color of the strap. They are literally the exact same watch, other than that.
And they have two different personalities. It tells you how something as important as the strap, and in this case, yeah, it says stainless steel on there. That's the case of the watch. That's not the strap. This also has the genuine alligator.
From Louisiana.
Yeah, the Louisiana alligator on there. And that's going to be something that, because they have used the Deployant clasp on here, is going to last so much longer. This allows for that alligator to be thread through here, Once the shape or the size of where you want it to be, whether on this configuration, you know, for a much larger wrist, a much smaller wrist that's been set here, now instead of running this through a buckle and over again, wearing it out, possibly scuffing it up, the work is being done by the deployant. When it's snapped into place, it is locked securely, and simply hitting the dual push button on this single scissor deployant allows you to easily put the watch off and on. You're going to appreciate that beautiful satin finish that is within that dial, but the high mirror polish that's on the hour indices all the way around. Folks, we cannot stress to you enough. Go ahead and check it out online. $7,495 for this handmade luxury timepiece. You're able to do it for $49.99 once our sale is over. So you only have a brief amount of time, but for the show, $1,399.99. $280 gets it home. That is your first of 5 stress-free, interest-free payments. We absolutely love that watch, and we're delighted that we have that kind of relationship with Eterna.
Well, speaking of Swiss-made luxury, speaking of watches that really are, even if you don't know anything about watches, chances are you've heard of Hublot, you've seen the advertisements. You know, Hublot is one of those brands that's synonymous with athletes and celebrities. I mean, these are the watches that, I mean, we always joke about the billboard that you drive by on the highway with Dwayne Wade. He used to be
It says, haha, I have one, you don't.
But, I mean, it's funny because these are the watches that you think, oh my God, I'll never be able to afford one. And then we come along and we slash the price in half and we give you stress-free payments.
I'm good. Are you ready to clutch the pearls? Are you ready to just be shocked and awed? I'm going to tell you a story. It only takes seconds.
Okay.
Friend of mine went on a cruise.
Okay. Oh, shocking.
Wait a minute. Bought a Hublot on the cruise.
Oh, God. Well, he might have saved from retail. Not that much, though. You only save
know how
like,
that goes.
Yeah, I do actually. It's funny
You know how
because
it goes.
I do know how that goes on cruise ships and
It's
in the
tough.
ports.
Yep.
You can save sometimes. You always get tax-free. So what you save, like let's say 8% there, and then sometimes you save. I mean, if he got this watch, let's say he might have spent 15. I mean,
Not the saving that you're seeing.
no. This is 50% off.
You know, Hublot back in 1980, when they went to the Basel Watch Fair, came up with the first natural rubber strap for a luxury watch. It took them 3 years to get the right formula, and nobody was they're like, you want to put a rubber strap on a watch? Now, how often do you see it?
All the time.
They have set the trend since 1980. Now, it's a 44mm case. It has the Hublot 1400 automatic movement, which is a 23 jewel automatic. Sapphire crystal. The watch is 16mm thick with this beautiful ceramic and titanium case. Why ceramic and titanium with this luxury watch? Because it gives it 300 meters of water resistance. Of course, that natural all rubber strap, just showing a little bit of that knurling that's going around all the way around, as well as the way that you can see that this is attached to the watch. It is custom fit and everything is unique to the Hublot Big Bang King Black Magic. There's 42 hours power reserve within this watch. It is a unique watch and an incredible timepiece. Do you like this?
I do like this.
Would you
I
want
would wear it
somebody to
personally.
pay $17,000 for the watch going into a retail
Not
store?
unless I could drive it to work. No.
That's exactly right. You'll hurt yourself. The $8,699 that's expensive. But in comparison
But yeah, if
to the
it's
retail
not for a
price,
$17,000 watch, it's not.
that's exactly
It's affordable.
it. All things are relative, and my relatives do not have this watch. $8,699 is what you're going to pay with us. Boy, I have to be real careful to say it lightly, because you can't say only $1,740 a month. But in comparison to the retail, look at that. We're taking that $8,000 price. What am I going to say next? Go to the bank. Ask the bank for $8,700, interest-free, no paperwork. They're going to bounce you out. Here, you're able to call us at 877-969-8818. Tell those lovely ladies and gentlemen you would like this watch. Tell them, and whether gentleman or lady, because I'm wearing this right now, but this is equally as beautiful on a lady's wrist. Tell them that you would like that watch. Put it on a credit card. They're going to charge that $1,740 and then immediately send it to you. You don't have to wait to pay the whole thing off. We're going to send it right away. You decide you don't like it, you send it back to us. We give you every penny back. We even pay for shipping for it to come back. You decide to keep it. 5 payments altogether. 4 more will ensue after that original payment, and you're done. No interest at all on that. And we would love to be able to put this luxury piece on your wrist.
You know what's nice about this is, and you feel it once you have it on the wrist, because, well, of course you really feel that it's a nice watch, but what is so cool is the titanium and the ceramic make the watch incredibly, incredibly durable, but also lighter in weight than it would be if it was in stainless steel. Titanium weighs about a third less than stainless steel, as does ceramic. So the watch, for its size and everything, is a little bit lighter in weight overall. I just, in the interest of time, did not size it down, but I want you to see, I'm going to tighten, put my fingers back here to tighten it. You can see that while it's a taller case, it does fit the wrist, so it's easy to wear. And yes, even though it's got some height to it, because it's titanium and ceramic, it's going, and on a rubber strap no less, it's going to be incredibly, incredibly comfortable to wear. Yes, it's a $17,000 watch. Yes, you're getting it for $8,700, but the materials allow it to be that one watch that you put on and you never need to take it off again. Not just because of the water resistance, but also because of the fact that you've got non-corrosive, hypoallergenic material. This is truly a watch that you could live in. 278-496. Did anyone ever tell you that you could put down $1,700 and get a $17,000 Hublot? Well, today is your lucky day.
Only 10% of the original value.
It's dancing. It's so happy. It's just dancing away.
I am amazed that we have put these back to back.
I know. Let's just show, to show. I mean, obviously, very different price points. But isn't there something not similar, but they kind of have a similar aesthetic to them?
No, I think that's exactly the word. There is similarity in the aesthetic of the watch, but also in some of the materials. Understand that there are times that you are paying for different levels of craftsmanship, for style, for name. I mean, there is a lot that goes into a watch. Here is a $5,600 watch that is made of grade 5 titanium, which is one of the highest levels you can get. It's an all-Swiss made watch by JeanRichard. The sandblasted DLC coating, which is the diamond-like carbon or the diamond-like coating that is on there, makes this so much more harder and difficult to scratch. So you have a satin finish. In fact, it's a vertical satin finish that's running throughout the entire case, the bezel. It almost looks like a wood grain, but it is a type of texturing that they've done to the grade 5 titanium. Now, the case on the watch is 49 millimeters. All Swiss made in the tri-compax layout of this, which is your 3 subdials, which is an hour, minute, and a continuously operating sweep hand right here as a subdial. You'll also have 2 additional subdials for your chronograph, because that's not just a crown protector, those are actually pushers. You also have a locked into place sweep hand, which we're going to see activate as I hit that pusher at the 2 o'clock position. Start, stop, and of course reset. Notice that snap back. Remember, we had that quartz watch that did that as well.
That's right.
Which was very unusual. Here you're seeing it in the JR66 movement, which is a 43 joule automatic with 42 hours of power reserve. What do we notice right here? A date complication, reverse date wheel, black wheel, white lettering here to give you that information. The only time, if you want to see some nudity, here is the naked titanium. Here it is in the
all natural look.
Everyone just leaned in right there. And of course, here you're seeing it in its natural configuration without the sandblasted DLC diamond-like carbon coating, and it's right there on the back. One of the things we love about titanium is it's hypoallergenic. You don't have to worry about this breaking you out, causing a rash, or causing a problem. Good heavens, titanium can go inside the body, and here you're going to wear it on the outside. Certainly, with the Aeroscope, you are making a great homage to the aviation industry. I'm going to slip this on right here. And whether it is in the aviation world or the space, because we certainly have had watches that have tapped into the space program, here's a watch using those futuristic materials that have proven themselves over and over again for their lightweight, for their durability, and for holding up so incredibly well over time, and how appropriate it's on a timepiece. I also appreciate the fact that it has a beautiful leather strap on here. The contrasting stitching on there looks really great with the white lettering that is on the bezel as well as on the Arabic numerals on the chapter ring. An easy to read watch. The oversized hands really do make it easy to read at a glance. And if you were flying a supersonic jet or you were on a, say, ship, you would certainly want to be able to tell the time at a glance. The automatic movement on the inside, again, 43 joule, is going to be reliable and accurate. $5,600. You're going to be able to pick it up for $1,400, only $280. Your first of 5 stress-free payments gets it home. 276396, the JeanRichard Aeroscope, one of our favorite watches. And if you want to know a secret, it also comes in naked titanium that you can check our website and still find it on there as well.
287-722, another Morano from Lucian Piccard. Now, we actually had this watch earlier on in the show, and I believe it was in the first hour, and the dial was black and rose to match the rose tone case. What we've done now is we've gone for a full, almost gunmetal colored dial, contrasted with the mirror polished rose with accents of red. It's a very interesting design here. Case size on this is going to be about 44 millimeters. This is one of those watches where when you get a closer look, you'll see it almost looks like an optical illusion. I'm seeing all these different levels inside the dial. And here, it's very cool because we've been talking a lot, it seems to be a theme today, kind of talking about even when dials are very busy, sometimes they can be hard to read, they can be a little bit difficult, sometimes you don't want so much going on. But in this case, if you look at it, I'm pulling it back, I know it's out of focus. If you pull it back, it's got all gunmetal, so you can see just what looks to be a solid color dial. It isn't until you take a closer look at it that you can see just how many levels are going on inside there. Now your very backdrop is going to be those horizontal stripes going across. And you can actually see there, placed over that, on top of that dial, are these cutaways. Notice how it's a ring that holds the subdials and connects to your stick hour markers. Notice how all of that, all done in gunmetal, it isn't until you're looking close up like this that you can see the different levels. Because again, I know it's going to go out of focus, don't worry. It just looks like gray. Oh, thank you, that was quick. It just looks gray, but then when you get closer and you've got it right on your wrist, underneath your nose, you can see all of those different levels. I also like how very deep the dial is. From here, it appears as though the hour markers, especially the 12 and 6, it appears as though they're on the same level as that outer edge. Watch when I tilt it. Do you see how deep it is? Look at how dramatically far down all of the hour markers are actually sunken. Sunken, is that a word? Sunken?
Yes.
Yes. For a moment there, I was like, does that make sense? They're actually sunken down around that outer dial edge. It's one of those three-dimensional looks that you would miss unless it was right on your wrist. Sorry, I know I'm like driving my director crazy. You've got a little bit of a step-down bezel design here. You can see it's the bezel itself, while the same color as the case, the same tone. It almost looks like two independent pieces. Yeah, it's super mirror polished. Sorry, it's also a little smudgy, but look, you can see how mirror polished, even you can see our little set there. Piston style pushers. And then this nice, almost vintage style for the crown. Croco embossed genuine leather strap. And I want to show you a true screwed down case back where you have the Safitech crystal. You have a Japanese movement inside. You do have a Miyota quartz chronograph movement. It's a 2-eye chronograph. When you start your chronograph, it will actually totalize over here at the 9 o'clock position for up to an hour. That 3 o'clock subdial has nothing to do, look at that, this is that snapback. That 3 o'clock subdial has nothing to do with your chrono feature. That is the AM/PM indicator. It's a 24-hour chapter ring, just like military time. So here, when you look at that little hand, you'll know whether the time displayed is AM or PM. So looking here, it's 10:10, right? That tiny little hand on the 24-hour ring is pointing to a 10. That means it's AM. If that little hand was pointing to the 22, it would be PM. So it's an AM/PM indicator. I'm assuming that's for people who live under rocks and don't have windows, but you know, it's also for fun.
Could you use that as a secondary time zone if you said it?
Not on this. On this one, it's fixed. So I'll show you. Like as you change the time, you can see it moves.
It's synced to it.
Traditionally, when it's a multifunction, and you've got the 24-hour chapter ring down here, like we saw in the Swiss-made ISAs, you could use the lower pusher for it. But it's still a fun feature because it's kind of nice to have it all set up. I'm going to pass this over to Wiley because I want you guys to see with a dress shirt on a man's wrist how a man's watch would look. Now, again, we've talked about this size already.
You know what I think when I saw this? I thought about Emporio Armani. Their logo has that striated, almost Venetian blind look to it.
Yeah.
And that's one of the, do you know what I'm talking about? It's one of those, when you saw it, you just go, oh, there's a richness to it. And I think when people see this, I mean, Lucian Piccard, certainly holds its own with its name, going back to 1923. But there's going to be a subtle suggestion of luxury that you may not realize where it's coming from, because you've seen it in every high-end store, we've seen it in magazines, and it is that shuttered design that you're seeing through that is, I mean, I don't think it's, so close that anyone would go, oh, that's Armani. But there is just something about it where there's a sense of luxury.
Oh, that's expensive.
And it should be. It should be at the $400 or $500 price point.
You know, that you bring up a good point. I think we see this a lot on all different kinds of watch designs. Have you ever seen, I mean, I'm pretty sure I even own a watch that's not Swiss made, but at the 6 o'clock position, if you look closely, it says Swiss movement. Or you'll see watches where maybe they'll put something there. And that's because, imagine if you're wearing the watch and somebody glances over and they see, because obviously if you're watching, you're probably a watch geek like we are. I notice when people are wearing watches, I'm always trying to see like what kind of watch it is. So if you see just from far away that little lettering, right, on either side of the 6 o'clock position, you might assume it says Swiss made. So I think in the same vein as what you're talking about, with sort of designs like that, things that are inspired by other luxury looks, if you're at the grocery store, you're at the mall, wherever it is that you are, and somebody glances over, I mean, it's not like you're buying something so other people think you look wealthy or whatnot, but it's kind of nice to have something that can hold its own, even when there are people, creeps like me, who are checking out wrists all over the place.
Do you do that too?
I always look at people's wrists.
Do you mind if I see your watch? What are you wearing?
I compliment people on watches all the time, or like I'll be somewhere and I'll be like, just sort of.
Do they ever go, oh, you're a girl, you don't know what you're talking about?
No, because I'll
And then you
just
tell
stick
them
their
what's
butts.
inside. And she knows, yeah, she's like a martial artist.
I am. All right, we should probably move off this now.
Yeah, let's just keep moving, keep moving. We love this watch,
Yeah, it's
and you will
it's
too.
amazing how we can take something so professional and just make it so ridiculous. We do have about 10 minutes left to go of our live presentation, so we've got a lot more to get to. 5-year warranty with all of our company-owned brands, like this one, Valarta. I feel as though I'm a Game of Thrones character going, Valarta.
Do you?
Well, you
know,
don't watch Game of Thrones, so you don't understand.
I don't have TV where I live.
No, you just watch World of Watches.
That's it, all the time, 24 hours a day. It's like a clockwork orange. They have my eyes pried open, and I'm constantly watching our show. 284239, the Lucian Piccard Valarta multifunction. Now, this is a multifunction. It's going to look like a chronograph, and as we draw in even closer, your eye is going to be drawn in to see those beautiful Geneva waves right there in the middle of the dial, and that looks great. They almost have a sense of motion to them. Then there's 3 traditional subdials with a 4th retrograde subdial. And as they draw in closer, you're going to be able to see that detail that makes you realize this watch has got to be expensive, with all of these levels of function within this watch, all operated by a single crown. Now that has to be an amazing feature. Notice all the way around, there is not a pusher. Sometimes they'll hide little hidden pushers, or you'll have additional, all of it operated by a single crown. So the watch has a very clean look to it. You have a 24-hour indicator, you have a date complication, you have a continuously operating sweep hand, and a day complication as a retrograde subdial. Isn't that kind of cool?
I was just thinking about how unique that is.
I'd not seen it anywhere else. And you notice they've done little pops of color on those kind of brigade style hands, but they're actually a bit of loom on there, so that, without, even if this is not lit up, if you see where the hands are, you know what time it is on the watch. All of this for under $99. Can you believe that? A brand new style, never released before to the world, and here we are with it at what would be considered rock bottom pricing. I mean, look at that. What do you think?
I like the step-down bezel design. You can see that it's a multi-level bezel, so that kind of gives it a nice bit of dimension. What's very, very interesting to me is that the day of the week subdial is done in this unique, almost looks like a fan, the shape, but also it's the only one of its kind on the dial. So it really does stand out. It's the only one that instead of numerals is words. And so maybe that's why it's different. I don't know, it's kind of cool that way.
that is considered an analog. Everything that's going to have numbers is going to be considered digital. You think about a digital watch, you think about a quartz, kind of a 1970s, and watchmakers have to choose between using digital or analog. Do we use numbers or do we use words? And when you see it stand out in a capacity that is different than everything else, you're exactly right. Here they've used the analog plus a retrograde. I think that's very unique. And the fact that our designers, geniuses, have decided to use this, it does stand out. And not just in this color configuration, but it also has a friend. And we're going to show you that one on the wrist in just a moment. All of this for $99.99. So keep this in mind. Take a look at this. Beautiful. But I like this one better.
Yeah, I like this one too.
Can you tell me what it is?
There's something, I think it's because this one uses blue ionic plating. That is meant to mirror the furnace bluing that you would have seen on a vintage watch. And you know what else is interesting? Because it's a color that contrasts against the silver tone, doesn't it almost make those subdials look more three-dimensional?
Oh, absolutely. You can see it as we draw in even closer. This gives you the dimension, even on the Roman numerals that are on the outer chapter ring within the bezel. You can see they have texture to them. They're slightly raised up. You can see the texturing that is really there on the Geneva waves. You can see the texturing where there's just a little bit of three-dimensional appeal. It's not painted on. There is texture to the subdials. And I think this is even easier to read, and there's something pearlesque. Even though this is not, I don't believe this one is mother of pearl, but it has that look and sheen to it because Necker, which is mother of pearl, has been used for thousands of years. So the moment, again, it's that homage. It's that, oh, this must be expensive because you're using that same sort of pearlescence on this dial. All of this for under $100. Okay, here's the deal, folks. If you even think somebody in your world, including yourself, may be interested in this, go ahead and order it for the $20. Get it home before your next $20 payment comes in. If you don't like it, send it back. We'll pay for it to come home. If you want to keep it, we've paid for it to come to you because there's free shipping. You always shop with confidence with us. We are watchmakers, watch designers, just as you saw earlier with Niso being here. We love what we do, and we want you to have our products on your wrist at the lowest price possible. 284240 for the Lucian Piccard Valarta. That's a beautiful multifunction.
Changing gears, going back to Swiss made from a brand we know how much you guys all love. 190893. This is the Evo Ultimate Seal from Luminox. Now, Luminox is more than a brand that just says, oh, we design watches that are as tough as the Navy SEALs. We design watches that are good for astronauts. These are actual watches that are designed with and used by our U.S. military and personnel, both here and abroad. And you can there's probably even a stamping on the back of that case that shows that.
You know, that's what you got to love about these watches. There is
there it is.
Let's flip it over so people see we're not making this stuff up. I'll try to hold that still.
No, not this presentation. The past 2.5 hours, probably.
This one, we've got statistics on this. We can back this one up. 200 meters of water resistance, and that unirotating bezel that you saw on the other side, well, that's going to make it a professional dive instrument. The anti-reflective coating on that sapphire crystal is going to ensure that that dial looks great for years to come. This is one of my favorite versions of the Luminox in the Luminox series because it just is. The all blacked out is great for some, on some occasions, but on this 45 millimeter case, it's just the right size. It's not too big or too small. The knurling and machining that is on not just the bezel, but also all the way around the bracelet is consistent. Remember, we talked about this before. We loved that on this watch. You're talking about a design that really holds up. Again, look how one subdial happens to have a different chapter ring around it than the others do. You can see the hand-applied Arabic numerals, and of course, every single one of these little white tubes is filled with an inert gas called tritium. If you're unfamiliar with Luminox, they really do love to go to military specs on their watches. Luminox was started in 1989, and for those of you who happen to be hunters or you happen to be gun fans, gun collectors, you know that some gun sights happen to have tritium as part of the mechanism. This does not have to be charged up to a light source. It constantly, 24 hours a day, is going to be glowing from what's inside there, and that's the inert gas. Do we have loom on this? You also have right here a large date complication at the 6 o'clock position. That's a dual date wheel and easy to read. You don't have to have a Cyclops lens over it to read it. Notice at the 6 o'clock position, it also says Swiss made. Now, the black PVD, which is the powder vapor deposition coating that's on this watch, is also going to be more durable than IP plating. It's a way of adhering this color, this black, to the metal that's underneath. This is the watch that's preferred by the U.S. Navy SEALs and U.S. Air Force pilots. The Swiss rond of movement on the inside is going to be reliable and accurate to years to come, but it's not just a Swiss movement. It's all Swiss made. Notice that you have two piston style pushers, one with a bit of red, so that if you did need to catch that out of the corner of your eye, you could and get to that pusher easily. Notice there's also a crown protector right there. And should you step outside from your Humvee or from your luxury vehicle at night, this is what you're going to see looking back at you. Look at that beautiful loom that's on there. And every one of the Luminox watches has a slightly different loom on it. And I wonder if the designers could tell them apart just by the loom. I bet they could.
Do you know that tritium glows 100 times brighter than traditional loom compounds?
No, I did not realize that. That is an amazing choice on their part.
The more you know.
You're just amazing to me.
Keep going.
190893 will get you the Luminox Evo Ultimate Seal. Look at that. That is the unirotating bezel, 200 meter.
You know what's nice is the bezel, that's why I just had to reach in and do that. The bezel actually has these little notches, so it's easier to grip. Maybe you've got like diving gear on, or maybe you've got clammy hands like I do. It's easier to grip the bezel.
That explains so much. But that is, I mean, that's so what? Okay, they've knurled and notched the bezel. So what?
No, it's a nice feature to be able to have.
Absolutely it is. Only $100 for a price-protected brand? You got to be kidding me. $1,100 in department stores, only $684 with us, but right now on the show, $499.99. $100 gets on. That's your first of 5 stress-free, interest-free payments. Oh, good heavens, we are moving on to something I'm just going to keep it. Why sell it?
This is very, very special. We do not always get to air Perrelet, but when we do, we make it the Turbine Limited Edition. 190761. Now this is actually, what were you going to say?
You're the world's most interesting watches.
I try. This is actually, well, this not only is the limited edition of the 2 sizes that we have available, the Turbine and the Turbine XL, this is the smaller size, the 44 millimeter.
Now, this is a 25 joule automatic. Perrelet is one of the originators of the automatic movement. Now, as you come into the watch, you're going to notice it. It has no sense of motion to it at the moment. It's skeletonized. You're like, oh, that's a beautiful skeletonized dial. I've not quite seen one like that. I'm seeing right through it. Well, in the back of the watch, we happen to have a rotor. That, of course, is going to provide power to the mainspring, but you also have a rotor built into the front. And simply any motion of the wrist causes that to go into motion. And there is such a perfect balance on it. Look at how that rotates. This is, without a doubt, an $8,000 watch.
Do you see what's going on inside the dial? Do you see that it's a snake, all done in mother of pearl? Give it another good shake.
Oh, you can see it right there.
Yeah.
But look at that.
That's all done out of mother of pearl.
Is that not gorgeous? And you
That's
know,
so cool.
The P331 movement inside within this 44 millimeter case, of course, that's also black DLC diamond-like carbon coating on there, is absolutely stunning. Now, Megan, I'm going to hold this steady. Can you show them?
The feature that, oh yeah, this is one of my favorite features.
Because you've got the nails to
It's
do
kind
it.
of, just, yeah, okay.
I'm going to hold still.
You'll notice that the casing is very, very smooth on both sides, but there is a crown. There's actually a little notch right here on the crown that comes out, and then you're able to pull your crown, pull it out, whatever it is that you need to do, and then you just pop it right back in place, and it's smooth to the sides of the case. So it's like a little notch there.
I love how customized this alligator strap is on this watch, because it is perfectly cut, it is seamless, and they've used some sort of metal fitting within it so that it is not just flexible.
It's actually,
alligator leather.
They use a solid end link, just like we talk about on bracelets. They do the same thing with
I mean, there is no movement in that whatsoever. Absolutely stunning. You like this?
Yeah, try it on.
Oh, I'm going to. Ooh, I was going to show the back. That's okay. Can we do that? Can we just show the back? I need to see that movement on the inside because you've got so much going on here and you've got such great photography in this. There is that customized rotor. There is the beating heart of the watch. There is the Cote de Genève that is running through there. You can see that's both sapphire crystal front and back. Let me throw this on the wrist. Look at the shape of that. Gorgeous. I so want one of these watches.
You know what's so nice is the black DLC coating. That's even more scratch resistant than ceramic. So it's when we talk about, oh, ceramic is so scratch resistant, well, DLC is even more scratch resistant and actually closer to how scratch resistant sapphire is.
I love this because, just the motion of your wrist, you're going to know your watch is winding because it's doing it right before your eyes. And this is even more stunning because I realize the camera doesn't always catch everything that you can see with the eye. Beautiful, beautiful watch. $37.99, only $760. That's your first of 5 stress-free interest payments to get this incredible watch home. This is the conversation piece of watches because how many watches have a rotor on the dial as well as in the back?
And a mother-of-pearl snake. Hello.
That's pretty cool, too.
All right, well, we have about 3 minutes to go before we say goodbye, so we're going to do a very quickie recap. We're just going to show you super quick a few of the best-selling items of the show. Remember, you have until Sunday to place your orders to get the TV price, and every single item was on 5 stress-free payments. So the new #1 seller, because apparently my hot pick was upstaged, but I'm okay with it, because it's still a Swiss-made watch, I believe. The new #1 seller of the show is...
I think I did the presentation on this.
Oh, so that's why.
That's as close as I can
it
get.
must be why. The Blue Geneve. This one features that
wow.
gorgeous blue dial. This is the multifunction. So this is the one that at the 6 o'clock position, that 24-hour ring could be a secondary
That one you
time.
can. Love that. And it's the oversized crown on there, which makes it easy to adjust. The oversized pushers. This is just that watch that has style to it. But man, it's so tasteful.
This is the one that I really liked that we were deciding between the 3. This is the one that's going to wear like a 48mm on the wrist. It's got that dodecagon shaped case. You've got the ceramic bezel insert. You've got rose and silver tone. It's definitely that eye-catching piece for sure. 5-year warranty on that Swiss-made ISA movement. 10-year warranty on the Safitech crystal. It's a Swiss-made watch for $40 down, $287,829. My hot pick, making it in next. It was upstage, but that's okay. 38mm Swiss-made watch from Swiss Legend. It's the Legacy. It's a 200-meter professional diver. You've got the exact same movement as the Blue Geneve, that Swiss-made ISA movement. It's a multifunction. Mother-of-pearl dial and diamonds, $289,550. 5 payments of $35.
That is a gorgeous watch. And of course, right up there, this is one of those watches. It doesn't take many to sell these for it to make a list, but you're going to love being able to get the Turbine limited edition automatic in titanium, black mother of pearl with that beautiful snake, and the black genuine alligator stuff. I wonder if the alligator and the snake are ever fight when you're not looking. Not $8,800, but $37.99, only $760 to get an almost $9,000 watch home to you. First of 5 interest-free, stress-free payments.
216433. Regretfully, we did not get a chance to air the U-boat left IFO, but you guys loved it anyways. Not only is it a left-handed configuration, it's also got a Citizen Miyota quartz chronograph movement in a 45.5mm case. $500. We took $2,200 off the list price. We're making it easy. $100. It ships. 216433. Unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to air the stunning Movado. This is the Moda Diamond, a Swiss-made watch. I love Movado. I encourage you to check out our website. It's not the cookie-cutter traditional Movado watches that you've always seen. We do have those, but we've also got awesome ones like this, the Moda. $95, it ships. 280855.
You've been watching Swiss Watch International's World of Watches. We are so glad you were with us. Please continue to follow us on the website. We'll see you again soon. On behalf of myself, Wiley, and Megan, take care. Goodbye.
Bye, guys.